Good evening, everyone, to the Asylum Podcast, episode 47. I'm about to go live and bring everybody in. Just to be aware, we have switched media again, so there's going to be a few changes. If the audio is out, please inform me as soon as possible. If anyone needs to be boosted, I would really appreciate it. So without further ado, let me bring everybody in.
Twerk sounds awful. Have you heard him today?
There you are, we're live. No. What's up, boys?
Good afternoon.
Oh,
good intro.
Yeah. Wait, how is the sound? Sound testing, guys. Sound testing.
We're all muted, most likely.
Oh my god, what did somebody say? Proof of life, and there they are. So you'll notice, unfortunately, the video quality is still a little bit on the downside compared to where Miserable does it, because Miz has got the beautiful NDI working. Fingers crossed that will be soon. If not, it'll be in a couple of months.
A pre-recorded message. Not a pre-recorded message.
Yeah, I need a new computer. It's the facts. There's the reality of it. So we're saving for waiting for my loan, should we say, to run out. So then we'll get a new computer and things will improve. So yeah. Well, first of all, I have
your loan to run out.
Yeah, I got a loan because every year I get a loan. I take out about £2,000 loan.
Like
for credit.
2 kids, that loan's never going to run out.
Sell a kidney. You don't need them.
Just spend like £300 on a birthday party at the weekend.
I did.
Oh yeah, how did that go?
Epic. Like, so epic, in fact. When you're a proud dad. Okay, so this is one of those moments where you just kind of go like, okay, like, I'm a fucking cool dad. Because like when my little boy, like, we had an issue in the morning. It's a bit of a long story, but normally I save these stories for streaming, but I haven't been able to stream much. So I woke up in the morning, got to my car, switched on the engine, dead. My son had left the light in the back seat on, so he's been fiddled with it. So he got a bit of a rollicking from his old man. So we had a bit of an epic episode this morning. So he turns up, we had to get an AA guy down and blah, blah, blah. We got it fixed. We got into nursery at 9:20, so he's late. Normally he's like one of the first kids there. He's the last kid there. But he's had his epic birthday party at Flip Out Trampoline Place. He's just like, the kids like loved it. It's been like one of the best parties, whatever. It's been crazy. All the kids were talking about it. Anyway,
so parents fucking hate you.
Oh, they hate me.
Like, we're gonna have to one up it every fucking time. It's like you
set the bar pretty high. And so anyway, my little boy rocks in, and like literally every single one of the kids just went ballistic, and they were like, Theodore, and then they all just like descended upon him and then like crushed him. What happened, miss? You gone all blurry on me. They descended upon him and like literally like a rugby scrummed him to the floor. It was hilarious, and I was just like, it was like one of those scenes in the movie where like they pick up like the coach or whatever and they kind of like carry him off. And I was sat there like as the dad, and I was just going, yes, like, I got you back, son.
No, he was really sitting there going, I was the fucker that organised it.
I was
sitting there
Where's my scrum?
He's just like pushed my son out the way, just go on my knees, like, hug me.
I did it. It's all me.
So, it was epic, like really good. It went really well. They had a great time. The kids had a great time. The best part of it is like when you got 15 kids coming to a party, like I only had to buy my son one present, and obviously the enormously expensive party. But everyone else rocks up with like 15 presents and stuff. So he got like,
oh nice.
Because I live in a rich area, the parents are pretty wealthy as well. So it's like, so you get.
You get better presents.
You get the big.
He gets these.
He gets
worth living in the rich area.
Monstrously big present. Like somebody rocked up with like this nut. Anyway, and enough of my son. But anyway, he had a good time. It was great, and it was that was fun this morning.
There was one other question I want to ask, because when you were streaming last, you were showing off your goodie bags that you were going to give everybody. How old's your son?
He's 4. 4. Yeah,
so
the parents.
Did you or didn't you? Put the party poppers
in. I put 2 party poppers in each one.
16.
In each one. 2 gunpowder. I did warn every single one of the parents. I warned them, and I said, I have put high explosives in each one of your children's party bags. I didn't. Yeah, there's no such thing. Like, I just go common sense, right? Like, common sense. The parents will be on it. But yeah, no. Thankfully, no parent has rung me to say that I blinded one of their children yet. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Like, popping at each other. Yeah. So, no, that wasn't. Yeah, in hindsight, that wasn't probably the smartest move. I've not been one for thinking things through, in all honesty. That's just the way I am. This is kind of one of the things I do. But what they did love.
Let's go to a lollipop.
I think what's worse is there's a couple of them most of them were that age, not that age. That was probably the worst thing. Mostly 3 and under. Like, so it was. But it went well, and they had a good time. The thing that didn't go particularly well over the weekend was the Damar rally for the Asylum stream team. So here I was bigging it up, and I'm the Damar guys like literally must love and hate me. Like, love me because we've obviously been very much heavily promoting the show. I promoted them. I even signed up the team. One the guy goes skiing, the other one disappears off to Scotland, and I forget I got a birthday party on the 27th. And this is the kicker, as I signed on with an email address that I never use rather than the normal email address I use. So when I then was like, why aren't we in the team thing? And then I go back and check that email account that I never use. There's like 3 emails saying you need to register by this date, confirm your entry, da 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 da. And I was just like, oh, how many times? So the wrong person to organise.
About it now, then.
It came, although it's been on the cards for like probably over a year.
Yeah,
I completely forgot. With it being so early in the 2019, I was just like thinking we had another year left, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, "Oh, it's this weekend." I was like, what?
Oh no!
It's just crept up on us.
It like BritainCon will creep up on us, and then CitizenCon will creep on us, and then 2020 will creep up on us.
BritainCon will just be a massive surprise after we realise we missed it.
Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why we haven't had the announcement. They've just completely cut us out. It's like, don't tell them it's on.
Yeah,
it's already been arranged. Yeah. Everybody's going, and there's just us sitting there going, it's not happening this year then.
Yeah, we just lots of Crystal. I've just lots of cardboard cutouts of people, and they just take photos, and kind of like, it happened, guys. You just missed it.
That's a cheaper way of doing it.
That would actually make sense. Now, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I think they're just trying to find a location, from what I understand. So I guess when they figure that out, then we'll all be.
They found a location. I think they're waiting on signing it off before announcing it, but that was like 2 weeks ago.
Stalling, so maybe.
If someone else has got any more information than me, please do let us know.
Oh, Chris, just tell them to get in here and give us the latest.
To be fair to like anyone like organising anything like the Damar rally, which we'll talk about the Damar rally a little bit in a second. Organising anything, I have like the utmost respect for people, and especially if you do it just doing the podcast like every week, pretty much we do every week apart from a bit of time off we take. Anyone that does that type of thing, like if you've never done it, like firstly do it. And then you are in a position, in my opinion, to criticize, or to make any comments.
Say a thing to me.
Then it's like you do it, and then I'll judge what you did, and then we can have a conversation, And I say that, and then then I'm about to go and slander a game that I've never made a computer game before, so I have to be careful. Hypocrite! Woo!
So what are you talking about? Surely they can do a planet.
Come on! What are they talking about? All the devs are like, oh, fucking bad. But no, absolutely. But no, it's for sure. It's if you've never done it, like I have such respect for people that create things, content creators, people that do stuff, because it is so difficult. So anyway, if you've ever been to the show, this is your first time to the Asylum, I'm a little bit of madness. You can see a little bit of madness everywhere in terms of Twitch and social media besides Instagram. That's for girls. The Twitch and Twitter and YouTube under the Asylum YouTube channel. The links, the debot should be working today. We have with us, Miserable G, painter extraordinaire, who recently, and he still can't even talk about it because he's under NDA, but if you go onto Twitter, you'll be able to see that there's already been leaked beautiful pictures of something that's happened in... I can't remember where it was. In Hounslow, is it? Or is it in...
Wilmslow.
Wilmslow, that's the one. Somewhere up there. So there was some... let me see if I haven't got a picture of it. Hang on, let me just see if I have a picture.
It's in Media's Go Live, and it's also on the document somewhere. But I didn't put it on there because I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what we're talking about,
I have no knowledge of any of this.
Wimbledon.
Thank you. Media to go live. Yes, I saw this literally, and I just retweeted it. Let me just bring it up quickly. Let's have a look. Ka-boom! So Biz can't talk about this but this was tweeted out by Aaron Anderson, and this is the Saber Raven, which we've all saw before. But what's really cool, besides the fact that's freaking cool,
Wilmslow, and it just happened that
these things.
In Wilmslow.
That's so cool. Though.
Can we see these? Look at these. This looks like awfully like an Idris, and that looks like a freaking javelin over there. And Miz, did you paint these?
They don't look painted. They look.
Can the hand go like?
I was in Wilmslow.
Okay, so Miz Bulba painted these. He can't. He's not saying it. I'm just telling you, he painted them. Just because it's a wild stab in the dark. And then there's this. This looks like a. Is this an elevator? Is this an elevator? I don't know. I couldn't figure out what this was. Somebody.
Struts. It's just support stuff. By the looks of it, the building.
By the looks of it, yeah. If you were guessing what it was, if Miz was guessing what it was, that's what it is.
If I guess, it looks like a support structure for something.
It looks like part of the Kraken. I reckon they're building a secret Kraken in the Winslow studio.
I want to get in closer to see these because these look absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous from this distance.
I actually like the plinth as well. I know that's not the focus point of it, but it looks like a quality plinth.
It does. It's beautiful.
It's like clear perspex. 3D printed.
Clear
3D printed.
Are they scaled as well?
On a wooden base. That's what it looks like.
They look. The Idris looks tiny, and I don't know if they're to scale, because if that's the case, then the Javelin is obviously
that's the scale.
Humongous.
That's the scale. These guys do it properly. That's 2A scale. That's 2A scale.
Tiny.
Whoever did it, it looks like they've done it to scale.
The Javelin's tiny. It's got a tram inside it, as far as I can tell.
No, sorry, not the Javelin. I mean the Idris.
That's got a train inside it as well, hasn't it? To get from one into
the Idris. But yeah, the Javelin does. That was mental when I heard.
That's gonna have a grey cat in it. That's what's gonna have in the Javelin. No, sorry, the Idris will have a grey cat to go from one end to the other end.
Segway.
Oh, so anyway, I want to see more pictures. We've seen that. I mean, that is still obviously tremendous. I think that's so cool to go into the office to see that above the. That is just tremendous.
When we do the office tours, it'll be a nice thing for people to see. You'll be able to go and see it if you go to the Wilmslow office tour.
What would be really cool if it actually had an actual working EMP inside it and it just fried everyone's mobile phones as they came in.
It does have working lights on it, LED.
But no,
from the looks in the picture.
Yeah, it strikes fear in my heart just looking at it now, to be fair. Although he's got the landing gear down, so it's not too bad. But no, honestly, I can't wait, Miz, for you to be free of NDA so you can show us more pictures. So I'm guessing we'll have to stay tuned for next couple of days and maybe when you stream or when we get more of that. So, that would be pretty cool. That would be very cool. You can't tell us all. So you can see Miserable. You can catch Miserable where? Miserable G on Twitter and Twitch.
Miserable_G on Twitter, Twitch, and on the Asylum YouTube.
I'm wandering around Cardiff, butt naked.
Yes. And Scotland.
We've all seen that. Yep.
And with us this evening, the wonderful, who I would love to be able to get as a permanent member of the show, but he's can't pin him down. It's like pinning a fart down in a jacuzzi. The wonderful SuperMacBrothersRyan.
I like that. I'm going to use that.
He's awesome. And you'll all know him. You should know him. He's a big YouTube content creator. U-time. Whoops, this could be a Freudian slip. He's one of those people that's on that wonderful show channel called YouTube. You got me fucking confused now in my brain. Just you just go. You sell yourself. Sumac, where can we find you?
I'm Mac.
Here we go. Hang on. Have you got a notepad and pen, and it'll give you all these different names that he uses on different platforms?
Super M. Some people know me by.
Yeah.
Mr. Bro S.
Yeah.
I'm on YouTube, SuperMacBrothers, Twitch, SuperMacBrothersRyan. Twitter, SuperMacBrother. Instagram for all the girls, as you say.
Yeah, it's for the ladies.
SuperMacBrother as well, which I very rarely post, but I'm going to. I will. I promise. Swear, follow me.
So for the ladies.
Yeah, but that's about it, I think. Am I anyone else? Occasionally found on the Asylum Podcast when you let me on.
Yes.
I've been a waiting list.
And that's the introductions over. That's our waffle for like 4 minutes. This is almost like a proper ATV. And we'll do now 4 minutes of content. And then end the rest of it, and then we'll charge you £20 for watching, and for your monthly sub. Thank you very much. No, that's kind of one of my kind of grumbles is at the moment is we're now towards the end of January, and ATV
for ATV, isn't it?
and ATV is kind of I know because Jared's been like RTV and stuff, but we're towards the end of January now, and I genuinely am like. We were told when they did the burn down. Does everyone remember what was the burn down to? Was it 3.0? And they said we're going to be reducing the content of ATVs. We're going to be reducing this because obviously, and then once we have 3.0, then the ATVs will return, and we'll return to more of a bigger format. Now, I always felt the 45 minutes was a bit too long. Anyway, I've always been comfortable with a 20 to 30-minute ATV. I've always felt that's a really good amount of time. I really enjoy that content. I've always found the old ATVs, which we got to know about the studios, and we had some like information from the devs, and it was just really neat, and we got to see a lot of bits and bobs, and we haven't had that and for a long time now, and I'm kind of feeling a little bit robbed, if I'm being truthfully honest, of when they said they were going, and like I feel like I just kind of, you said you were going to bring it back and you haven't, and why? Like at least tell us why. Just say we haven't brought it back because there's nothing to show you, or we're just doing Squadron 42 and we don't want to do any spoilers. They've kind of said it, but they haven't said that's the reason for ATV. So why it's so short. It's like, was it 10 minutes again this week?
Yeah,
15 minutes?
I don't know. I mean, Jared's been off, and maybe it's taking him a while to get back into sorting things out, because I think he was a bit ill and stuff as well, and so he was having like a bit of a recovery break.
When he was here, it was still short, and ATV is kind of like, I like the content that we had with Sandy, but it's like I love Jared. I think he's great, but when the linchpin of Jared is cool that you've got somebody there, and every football team has it, but when someone goes on holiday or goes away, or he should be able to take holidays fairly frequently, once a year, like or twice a year, like most normal people. Shouldn't have to do 2 years. I don't think
they have holidays in America, do they?
Don't think so.
Called vacations.
Yeah, but you need to have backfillers, and you need to have people who can kind of cover a little bit of the workload, just to kind of keep it going.
Very true. Yeah. It is a bit of a shame that when the head guy of content goes, that content stops.
Yeah.
Shit, okay.
What?
It's something I think in the future they'll have to address, especially when it becomes a bit more of a it will do, but more of a mainstream game. But yeah, with this whole, I think what they're currently doing now, aren't they? I think did they say that they're going to address new footage and have videos for the veteran backers, videos for new backers, videos for the in-between. And it's like ATV has been, I used to get really excited for ATV. Now it's like, I'll watch it. They won't show much. They'll say a little bit and then it'll be gone. And it's like the Thursdays used to be a really good day.
Yeah.
Now it's about 3 minutes of boner and then 7 minutes of flaccid.
I mean, well, this last ATV was pretty much, it was something that could have been in a blog post. It was like, here's the planet, here's that, and this is what we've done in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do like the deep dives, the long looks into things, and the studio. The best ones I found was when we went from each week, we went to a different studio, and you had a rundown of like 15 minutes from Texas, from LA, from UK, and from Germany.
That was pretty cool.
Focused. Because they showed us a lot of stuff, and they wanted to show off.
They were great. I like that, and they created almost like an internal competition, almost to say who could produce it. We were all going, the Frankfurt office has done the best ATV. Everyone was bigging it up, and then all of a sudden, then Squadron 42 would then go, fuck you. Here's an new Idris picture video shot, and here's the new latest fighter ship coming and whatever, and then everyone would be like, okay, Squadron 42 is just blown out of the water, and then the LA guys would then do something else and show us something cool. Like Jay Lee would be like, here's the latest ship jacker armor and all this stuff, and we will be like, oh no, the LA's doing fucking great too. It was fun, and now it's just, I mean, I think keep the Sandy bit with Chris, that's great. I think everyone's in unison, that's great. Don't need to be an hour. Doesn't need to be an hour. I think everyone probably would agree. It doesn't need to be an hour unless you're doing a special, like a deep dive, like you said, into the when they did the language guy, or they do like a sound special or something. That's fine. Do a special, or a recap or something. But I just honestly, 20 minutes to half an hour would be plenty and make it interesting-ish.
We all know it was Noobify that fucked it all up with his no bullshit videos. That was the last thing that Jared came out with. It was like, oh, you want no bullshit? Fine. And it's like, no, that's Noobify's job. You give us the bullshit. Yeah. We want to hear that bullshit.
I think that is the problem, really, because like the whole, not blaming it on Noobify, like the whole no bullshit, it suits some people.
Yeah, some people.
But it's not what a lot of people want. Like, there's a lot of people, you see, realistically, I would say those that take an interest in watching the project keep going rather than just buying in and waiting for it, they want as much information as possible. And so, like you said, the deep dives and stuff, it's like, it's up to us to skip through shit if we don't want to watch it. Like, we can just skip through it, or go and watch someone like Mac's video who doesn't do no bullshit but cuts it down a bit. And so you don't have to watch the whole thing, and then you can do the podcast based off of Mac's video rather than the full thing. But it's up to whoever wants to watch it. Whereas if it's short, you can't make it any longer. Whereas you can cut the content down. In my opinion, it's like, it's the same as when sitcom was there. When you watch the panels, you're like, well, this panel doesn't interest me. Just because it didn't interest me doesn't mean that room wasn't still full with people listening to the conversation. Yeah. And so if they've got that information that's there, then, share it. Show it to people and let the people that, that's the whole beauty of having it on YouTube, is you can skip it if you don't want to listen to a certain section or whatever.
Well, they used to do that as well, didn't they?
They did. Yeah, there's plenty of people doing cut down content and breaking it up and getting to the nitty gritty bits. If you really don't want to watch the proper one, there's
some people want go and see. Just the facts. Some people want the snuff, and some people want neither. It's up, like you say, it's up to us to decide what we do. And Noobify has his videos. I have my videos. Board has his videos. They're all doing something different. And people watch the ones that they want to watch. Don't get rid of the content because you assume, because Noobify's videos are popular, that's what people want. We all want the little in-between bits, but like you say, we can skip it. We don't need to...
The reason Noobify's videos are popular as well is because we know that there's like millions of backers, and not everybody's got the time to sit there and watch an hour. But there's still a huge chunk that want the full info. So I suppose the problem with the going to each studio means you then have to have someone dedicated in each studio to film it, to find stuff to show off, edit it, and then send it on. And I think that's a problem that we know, like you said, from doing the podcast, that sometimes it can just take you ages just to fill out the document each week. So if you try and times that by every one of the studios, and then you're wasting people's time doing that every single week. But I think, didn't they at one point do it so that each week was a different studio rather than all in one go?
Yeah,
that would be easy, because then they've got 3 weeks to prepare for their next one.
That was when it was best, and then the monthly report was pretty much what they all said in that little video snippet. Like AI is doing this, art's doing this. That's what the monthly report was exactly what they'd said in each week of development. But my old StarCitizen Sunday videos used to be 20-30 minutes long. Now, obviously, we don't have RTV at the moment, and calling up devs, they're like 4 minutes, 3 minutes long. I expect them to go to 10. I want content because I crave it, and I think a lot of people do. And I like pretty things. I like to see things that are shiny and whatnot. And it feels like they're just giving us a little bit and then taking it away. I want to have full-on looks into things rather than just snippets.
Well, it kind of gets me. I mean, just gonna say, Grizzled, absolutely, you're correct. Noobify, you do. It is edited down to what his views. Just to be clear about that as well. Yeah, not just saying he doesn't just cut it. He cuts it to what he wants to talk about.
No, they're great videos,
which is fine. And I watch his videos sometimes if I'm cut for time, and then I can just kind of get the highlight reel. The things that I think that he thinks important, and then I'll kind of go, okay, that's cool. And then I usually watch the videos later if I can myself, and then I maybe draw draw. The main thing for me is I always like to watch it a bit myself so I can draw my opinion on it and then throw my flavor of salt onto it, as people would say.
My seasoning.
The madness seasoning. That's what we need. You need to get your own little seasoning thing.
Yeah.
Salty, chili,
little bit of salt
pouches of meat.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I watched. I'm a big fan of all the content creators for StarCitizen. I watch pretty much almost all of the podcast shows. I'm always fascinated to hear people's opinions on StarCitizen and how it develops. And I watch Captain's Tables because they've done a reboot. Nice one, Paul. Looks just like ours. Well done. Like, stealing all our great ideas.
Like ours. Nice job.
No, it's
just more popular.
Just more popular. Damn him for being so, taking all the best bits from us and putting on a good show. Very well done. No, what was interesting because he had Nubifara and Matachi on. Now, there's a few points that they made which we might talk about briefly. I don't want to go over too much other people's stuff, but there was a few things that they talked about. And one of the things, but my main thing that I thought was really interesting is, and I did add to the comment to his channel, was it's so sad when you have to constantly were correct saying, oh, sorry for being salty. Oh, I'm sorry for being salty. Oh, I'm sorry I don't want to come across being salty. There's far too much of this labeling salt that goes on all the freaking time, and it pisses me off. It's like, no, they were just being themselves and just having an opinion on something. And why does everyone? It's because they have this permanent need to constantly be optimistic, to keep the special snowflakes or whatever you want to call them appeased and happy, keep those people who fancy the game. It's like, they weren't saying anything bad. They were just saying things that they wanted to look forward to. And this constant, I get frustrated about it. I'm just like, this is what they wanted to talk about. Why do they always have to keep saying, I'm trying not to be salty? It's like,
because too much salt melts snowflakes.
Yeah, I know, right? That's what it is. It's like, get rolling. It's like the people out there haven't got like a intelligence and an ability to kind of like see. Anyway, whatever. Anyway, that was just one of my grumbles. But great show. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to next week's Captain's Table. And Paul comes on the show here and when he's free, which is great. And I look forward to one of us. I'm sure one of us will be on there at some point in the future. Again, when the time zone switches back, because at the moment it's too late for me to do it. So what was interesting about the Damar rally, besides us not being able to attend it, was what an amazing, an attempt at doing something on that scale, unprecedented. I think besides the racing stuff that they did, that other people did before, I think for some of the competitions, they did like a racing competition. I think that, I forget the gentleman's name, I'm sorry, who, IPOC, I think his name is IPOC. Who won the racing competition, I think, previously. There hasn't been too much for a while. That's that level of just, it's just awesome. They did such a good job, in my opinion. Yes, they had all the issues with the game crashing. Yes, they had griefers, if you want to, the aspect of that in the game and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? I think CryEngine did a great job. Rummage, I think his name was. He was with him. I wasn't sure if he was real for most of it because he didn't talk much. But when he did, I realised he was real. But I was giving him grief for it and chat. I was just like, is Rummage AI or is he actually a real human being?
He was running Damar Rally though.
Hmm?
Wasn't he the one running the Damar?
Yeah. He was trying to. I think he was organising. They did such a good job. Seriously.
But what I mean is, I don't know if he's really a streamer or something like that. So whether he's used to talking and that on there, which obviously would make sense of him being quiet. Like if you're not used to it, it's a bit like when you first saw some of the CIG devs and they're like, "Hey, this is a camera. Hello. Welcome to my feature.
What do I do with my hands?" That kind of...
I'm just doing that under the camera. You can't see, but yeah. So it's if you're not used to that sort of thing, it can definitely be a bit overwhelming and a bit daunting to start with. I mean, we're used to just talking to ourselves in the mirror all day.
Yeah.
Looking good.
So it's
yeah,
fine.
Max on Instagram, he's just constantly taking photos of himself. That's what selfies every 5 seconds.
I think I've got a selfie up there once. I had beard baubles though, so
I'm not sure if that counts.
There was a reason.
By the way, for anyone that's tuning in, the first half of our thing says ATV has got very little to talk about, so it just says in big bold on the document, waffle for as long waffle for as much as possible.
But yeah, I mean, fair play to the Damar guys. It's been advertised, it feels like, for about a year now.
Yeah.
And like, not many people can push an event and work towards something for so long without it actually happening. Like, maybe like, oh shit, let's get an event out next week. The fact that they managed to stick it, build up popularity for it, and I was looking at some of the adverts and things they did. They put so much effort into it, and for a fan-based run event, it looked. I don't know about the actual stream because, like I said, I was in Manchester, but from the build-up to it, at least, it looked extremely professional and really well done. I mean, they had the booklets, organising, trying to get the teams together, and everything else. Just really impressive, really impressive. And I hope that, I mean, it had a good feature on, was it ATV? Yeah, it was ATV. So they spoke about it on ATV, and I hope that it will. It's a bit like Operation Pitchfork, that in terms of it's got big enough that CIG they've done such a good job that CIG will somehow try and incorporate into the lore. And I think I put on a document, like, it would be interesting to see if they do like they did for BritizenCon, which is like make a trophy for the winner or something like that. If they eventually, if this gets run well enough and it works, then maybe they can try and help integrate, not like take over it or anything, but just recognize it by giving them an in-game trophy or something that they can give to the winner or something. I think would be really
add them to the lore, add them into the lore of like the Galactopedia.
Actually make it a thing.
That would be really cool.
For anyone that's on YouTube listening in or in your car or whatever, currently we've got the one of the latest Damar videos, which actually I'm going to turn the audio up just briefly because it had Uther Riley did the sound, I think, for this video, which I hang on, here we go.
Years ago, we set out to help Origin jump
which is very cool.
Farther.
Is that the advert that they had for during the show?
Yeah, this is one of the adverts they had, which is very cool.
A lot of things.
Oh, 300 new rework
with partners like Origin.
It looks so old looking though, doesn't it? It looks really dated.
It does. Those gangly legs are funny as hell.
Look at those trails. Awesome.
Where will it take you?
Yeah, it's nice. It's really well done. Really well done. So, I think So, did anyone actually? I don't know. Chat caught the stream. What they thought of the event. How well the actual stream went, and because, like we said before, I think there were some mechanics that they were kind of hoping would be in time, and they obviously haven't been, which is probably partly why they delayed it for so long, because they needed to. There are some mechanics that would make this better in terms of like having the repair vehicles and things like that. I don't know. I honestly, I haven't had a chance to catch up on any of it, so I don't know if things were blowing up, whether the support teams worked, how they planned it to.
A few people finished on foot. I know there's a few people that finished on foot. There was a couple of video footages of people just running like that. Which was really funny. I do actually have the winners. So the 29-14 champions are in. So I will give you. Here we go. Let's just bring them up here. So congratulations, the bike division winners, the Viva Marlebra and Diva Jufan. Buggy division winners was Excel's race team with the Excel Minza RP 20010 Bruce Butthammer. What would have been cool is if they'd told us on this, by the way, just for Damar Rally, would tell us what they won vehicle with. So, like to say the winner of the bike division was in a Dragonfly, the buggy division was in an RC, or they won in one of the other ones. That would have been kind of cool.
Probably
the Rover division, we know what they won in the Rover division, unless there's variants of the Rover.
How many vehicles blew up to get this?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be wicked. Like that would be very, very cool. How many people died?
They put up an ad saying for those trying to reclaim their vehicles, their ground vehicles, please allow some time. As demand has suddenly shot up.
They would have been cool if they did the video with the guy crawling over the finish line and stuff. That would have been. I think what was great about this, and I was talking about this. The thing is like, was the fact that they did such a good job, and yet obviously they will have learnt so much from the event. You know, all the things that went wrong, all the things that went well, all the things like all the improvements and the little the tweaks. Also, CIG, get off your ass. This is amazing what these guys are doing. Support them, help them some more. I definitely think get some fucking repairing in the game, please. Get the ability to flip some of our vehicles over, please. Come on, this is obviously a big thing. These guys probably want to do this every year. Like, let's at least by the end of next year, please have the ability for us to repair and to flip our vehicles over at least. And refuel would be nice too, but at least change and refuel. Let's throw that in there as well. That would be fine. Those three things: refuel, repair, and flip the vehicles over. That would be a nice three things. I think would make the Damar rally that much more. Obviously, joining up, regrouping, partnership, maybe private servers, but that stuff is beyond. I think those first three things would be wicked to improve it. But yeah, because I think there was moments where there was a lot of time, unfortunately, for the viewer. If you were watching it as the viewer perspective, there was a lot of downtime at times, and I think, like I say, CryEngine and the guys there did an amazing job to keep the hype, to keep the energy going, for what was incredibly tricky in the first time out the bag. So well done, Damar Rally team. Sorry I couldn't get on there. It's my fault, and I completely will be making sure I hand it over to somebody who's responsible within the Asylum team, who can keep track of emails and isn't dyslexic like me. Cool, right.
And not holding kids' parties.
Yes, and holding Chris. Yeah, and able to just. Yeah, I've got this wonderful book. I don't know if anyone else has ever read it. It's called The Four Agreements. Tom Brady uses it, and a lot of other people do. And basically, the first agreement it's like a kind of it's a little book about this big. It's incredibly good. And the first agreement is the most important one: be impeccable with your word. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's as far as I got with the first page. I was like,
and then you ignored it.
And then we realised that this book isn't for me. And just yet, anyway. We need to work on that. So also what happened over the weekend, which was also incredibly fun, was the Valiant Free Fly weekend. We actually had a pretty hyped weekend for a lot of content creation, because we've had, obviously, Rexzilla's been doing his amazing thing with the big server groups and getting everyone together and really showing off StarCitizen in a kind of a pre-event kind of game plan, which I think has been very, very successful. And we, StarCitizen kind of dropped the Valiant free fly in, and something that WTFO has been doing consistently, but even before the Valiant thing, is doing the cruise thing that he does. Like, I think it was more because when he was bored and waiting for a patch, he would just sit in his spaceship and cruise around the planet. But it's actually, obviously, with the grouping mechanics and stuff, it's become more of a thing, and the Valiant thing. So I actually joined him this weekend on a free flight. And do I actually have the pictures? This is the crazy thing. So yeah, I do actually have some pictures here. So let me just make sure there's nothing naughty on these pictures. Before we get in.
So exactly did you join him in doing?
Just got to be careful. You got to be careful. No. So that was somebody parking up on top of this crazy thing. You'll notice I have on my. I couldn't put any of these screenshots in for the competition because I had the triangle thing on the 3D view, and somebody actually kindly on Reddit, after I read Reddit, posted how to get rid of it. So if anyone wants to know, there is a post on Reddit which I can link later, or you can whisper me if anyone's curious. There's a way actually how to get rid of the green triangle on your third-person view. But this was kind of like the get-together. I actually have over an hour of footage as well, which I'm not going to bore you with slides and stuff. But this was the one I was going to put in. But it was pretty cool. We got up in the air, and it was HC Vertigo and a few other streamers were there with us, and yeah, it was pretty crazy, and it was a lot of fun. There was some crazy crashes, and it was amazing watching people crash like at 250 rather than like full speed. It was a lot of fun, and I know a lot of people entered. I don't know if the competition's been drawn yet. Does anyone know if the competition was drawn?
Yes. Oh no. Oh, for that one. No, I don't know.
Yeah,
actually, not the
I don't know if it has been.
I haven't seen an announcement. No.
Okay. So, hang on. Wait. I apologize. Sorry, we have better pictures. Sorry, I forgot about these ones. So we did. Here we go. So this was cruising in, all coming in, and this was like kind of in the lineup and stuff on the next day. So we did 2 days. The second day didn't work as well. Unfortunately, we tried to do a asteroid cruise. Yeah, it didn't work out so well. There's too many crashes. Not crashes. Too many asteroids. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. It wasn't that. It was the actual game was crashing.
Upside down ships, considering it was Australia Day. But,
there was plenty of me flying upside down. But it was wicked fun. It's definitely something. Hopefully, as things progress, and when I get back to streaming a bit more, I'll do some more similar things, like try and get some group together, but more for combat fighting on a larger scale.
Asnog. He said Wednesday the 30th is the winner is announced.
Cool. So if you haven't got your pictures
in, submit or
I can. I've got one picture. I think I'll submit the one with the me standing on a rock, and it looks really mediocre. So I think it's definitely got a chance.
Photoshop it.
I know, right?
In there and start editing stuff.
It's really mediocre, but yeah, like. I've noticed a lot of people kind of been doing more and more of it. I know Banu Baron did something. I think I noticed UberNerd's done something. There's more and more now with the ability with the stream and the numbers. More people trying to get people involved, I think, which is really bigging up the game. You know, is more people getting into the game. And it kind of brings me on to my kind of question for you guys as we talk about this is, you know, in terms of improvements in game mechanics and improvements for us, you know, quality of life, where do you, like... CRG's kind of got a bit of a tricky situation in the sense because do you think they care? Firstly, that like, you know, I think they kind of care, but with some of the problems I saw with the Damar and trying to get grouping together and the crashing, like supposedly we had this amazing patch that came in that was supposed to fix crashing, and crashing made honestly, in my opinion, the game just crashed just as much as it was in the previous patch. I didn't know what was the improvement for the PT3 client crash fixes. Like, I didn't understand.
When you look at the roadmap, we all complain about salvaging going and law system going.
Yeah.
But a lot of what they're bringing in is newer versions and improvements to VoIP, to group systems, and things that actually are quality of life improvements. So they definitely care. They're definitely trying to... Yeah, exactly. They're definitely trying to improve the game and what we currently have, which is why I was saying I wasn't too bothered about salvaging. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to get salvaging and those sort of version 1s and stuff, but getting version 2s, 3s, and 4s of what we already have is improving the quality of life. And I think it is, like you say, more important now than ever, with big streamers coming in, big YouTubers doing it, and putting out the videos, that they can actually see it in a decent state. Because when someone comes in, they don't understand the game, they see it, and all they see is maybe crashing or bugs or glitching or fuck-ups. That's when it looks bad, and people will just already think, it's been like that for years, it's still not ready. So, yeah, I think 3.5 is a lot of fixing. I mean, these server crashes, they fix server crashes, they fix all these client crashes. It might not be the exact one that keeps getting you, but at least they're fixing multiple ones. But
you talk about, like, in terms of, like... quality of life, which I think it's overwhelming that on the swing to say that they are fixing. But I was looking at the 3.5, and it's like mission givers, ship AI, which is obviously for AI, quantum travel improvements, vehicle scanning improvements, group system improvements, VoIP and VoIP improvements, distortion damage improvements, gimbal weapon improvements. Mission giving stuff, obviously, again, Banu, some ships, blah, blah, blah. But there was nothing in there about group multiplayer, like the way that we kind of group up and stuff. And like, there's definitely a bug in there at the moment, which pisses me off. And I think it pisses most people off, is when you crash and you come back, your marker's gone. And that's really irritating because, you know, and you then have to come out again, and then you come in again, and then you get like double grouping on your group names, and you have to kind of then, when you go to type, you go, I've typed in my group, why hasn't it worked? Then you have to press the tab button again, and then it goes, and it's the same group name but twice. And I'm just hoping that I'm going to check on Spectrum, but I'm hoping in 3.5 that will be fixed, and we'll be able to get when we get the crash client come back again, we'll be able to see the markers of our groups. Because one of the things that I noticed with, again, when you're doing these big events and showing off the game, having to, like, WTFO and other people, like, constantly having to regroup up, it just slows everything down. Like, I couldn't play the second time because I was like, I've got a limited amount of time. I really want to get in and enjoy this with you in a big group system, but I'm sorry, but I don't want to literally be sat on Hex for 45 minutes waiting to go. You know, I want this to be as quickly as possible as it can.
They're just preparing you for the future. StarCitizen is going to be a slow game for us. They keep telling you it's going to be a slow game. Grouping up with people, it's not going to be easy.
Why
it
should
might take you half a day?
Why should that be so hard? Like that shouldn't be hard, should it? Come on, really? That should be fairly from MMO multiplayer.
Obviously, I don't understand game development because I've never done it, but like, do you know when they say, "Oh, you add something and it always breaks something else"? Like, so it breaks chat, for example. Let's just say that. So you add a feature, it breaks chat. Well, if that's the case and chat's going to be broken anyway, well, you might as well just keep adding features and just leave chat broken for a little bit. And then when you feel adding a few features, then fix chat. Because if you fix chat and then add the next feature, then it breaks chat, then you have to add the next feature, then it breaks chat again. They have to keep fixing it. So why not just leave something broken while they add the next feature in? And till you do a good few features and then repair it.
And then everything's broken and nothing works, and then nothing looks good on street. Like that's that whole kind of this is that whole quality of life thing. That's why I was always confused when they came out with it. I was just like, you're now prioritizing the way your game looks now. When you haven't got so many things missing, you know what I mean?
I think they are too worried about how it looks because, I don't know, but that's how it comes across. Because when I looked at that Red Bull video that just came out, you can kind of see it from Chris, because it was kind of behind the scenes. CitizenCon as well was a section of it, and you can see the frustration he gets when the demo doesn't work. Yeah. Like everybody else, well, I say everybody else, that's not true because there's lots of people who slag it off, but most of us understand that he's A, playing it live, B, the servers crash, and so even on the live demo, when it crashes, everyone goes, oh, gives a little moan, and then he boots it up again, and no one gives a shit. They just carry on watching it. Yeah. But he's just like, what the fuck? Oh, this is glitchy. Why isn't this working? Fix it. It needs to be perfect. It needs to be damn well perfect. And it's like, and then 2 minutes later, be on a chat in the background. Oh, it's live. It happens. Things happen. And it's like, yeah, you weren't like that in the moment. Yeah. And I think that kind of to me comes across in these patches that we're getting. And I think that's why we're getting delays in the patches, because he's looking at it going, oh no, that's causing this thing, and it looks a bit janky. Oh no, we can't release that because the magazines are going to turn around and slag us off for releasing 3.5 with a janky mining mechanic. Whereas actually most of us would be like, well, you know what, release it, let it be a little bit janky, and then fix it halfway through, as long as we got something. And I think that seems to be a bit of a blocker. It's like we're polishing shit as it's going to get broken in the next patch.
But there's a different. I think there's two. I think the thing is now as well though. You're getting two types of StarCitizen gamer. You're getting in my opinion, the old head, the old one who's been through the mill a little bit more and kind of knows the score. And you're getting kind of, because the game is looking more and more polished, you're getting more of the people coming in. I'm seeing on Reddit asking questions, is the game ready? Because you're getting the newer gamer who's kind of seeing Regzilla, seeing these more grandioso kind of oh my god, they've done a Damar rally, that looks fucking amazing. They're getting more of this impression that the game is at more of a finished state than perhaps it is, and you're getting them in. And then so now if you've got two types, like you said, a lot of us old backers would be totally fine with it, but then the new backers would be like, oh, this is a shit patch, or this is all glitchy, and this is all shit, and you know what I mean.
And at times you've got a polished game, and then when you get in it, it's not really a game. Like even that Red Bull thing, it was making out even way Chris talked about it. He said, oh, we're adding things patch after patch, year after year. And I'm thinking that he was talking almost like as if it's a live game that they're adding shit to, and it's like, oh, we're adding feature after feature after feature. I was thinking, no, you're not. You're just building the game. You're not adding features. You're fleshing out the features that are been listed and not made. And I thought that's the way that came across was a little bit like they were talking about a game that's come out. And it's like,
I think that's. I honestly think I've said this before on the show. I honestly think he thinks this is a game, and I've said but literally once 3.4 and once we got the object container streaming, and I've always said I've considered that the mark point for now we're into a game. I know many other people say you're talking shit, but I honestly think that's the way that I think that Chris has kind of written it and gone. Probably even from 3.0, it's like, this is now a game, and now we're just in the progress of just adding the features and getting it to the place where we're happy with it. It's an interesting conversation. It will go on forever. We're never going to be. We'll go around and around the roundabout on this one in terms of what's right and what's wrong. I don't think there's an answer because no one's ever done this type of open development before. So it will be at the end of it. We'll all be able to look back at it and dissect it maybe and go, maybe they should have done this. And hindsight's always 20/20. So it's tricky.
I mean, that is the hardship, isn't it? It's like, how do you make it? And just because I would much prefer it, as you say, just to throw in all the features as they come online, and then they're polishing them through. But then they need to get them to a certain standard, I guess, so that people who don't know about it aren't going to keep slagging it off. I guess it's like they used to do it that way, but then they got burnt, so now they're approaching it differently, perhaps.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that they need keep needing money. They keep needing the funds.
Yeah,
and so I think they keep. I mean, this could be wrong, but cynically, I think that's what they need. They need the money, and so by making it and selling it like it's looking good, and we want to draw more people in, is bringing them more money. Yeah. And I think that's why they seem to be concentrating a little bit on the polish to get people in, get people paying it, and get people buying it.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I also think if you look at it compared to. Okay, probably a bit cynical again, maybe, but like it's easier to fix bugs than it is to add features. So when they take that out of 3.5, but go, oh, look at all these things we're bringing out in 3.5. We're fixing this, we're fixing it. Like you can make a big long list of all these improvements we're making, and it looks like, oh, that's a really fleshed out patch.
Yeah.
Whereas really, it's got no depth to it. And they've taken all the features out of it, and all you're really doing is you're doing bug fixing. And I don't mean that as all, don't get me wrong. I know they're working their asses off and shit, but that clearly is that's kind of what you're getting through the patch, rather than all these extra features that are coming. And I know the bug fixes are needed and shit, but it looks better to list them than to not list them and say if they took fixes out and just listed what was coming,
it would be, and it would be. But what's interesting, they've still kept in, and they still continue to, as always, like you're talking about the priority, they've still kept in the shiny glossy bits, which is the spaceships. The new spaceships are still in there, and then of course we'll have new concept ships coming up very soon as well. So there'll be new patch, new bits, new missions, things will work, things won't work, and then there'll be new spaceships that everyone will be like like me, like I'm going to be a sucker for it just like everybody else, and I'll be like, the bad new defender gets in, and I will just be like literally jizzing in my pants because I'll be so excited to see that thing, because I have one and I'm excited. I know there's a lot of people who will be like, another alien ship, that's awesome. We still seen so many human based ships that always look like normal human based ships, so more alien ships, yes. And so it gets everyone excited, and and so that's what it is. But hey, look, I've always said is CIG, they start slow now. I've been in this game now, this journey for 3 years. I know people have been in it for longer. It's pretty standard stuff now. The first patch is always pretty poor. I would agree with a lot of the podcasts that I've been watching. They're all saying the same thing, and I'd be curious what you guys think. Why do you think it's a bad thing or a good thing that they still haven't updated the rest of the year's roadmap information by now?
I don't think it's a good or a bad. I'm dying to see 3.7 and 3.8. I'm dying to see it. I think they're just taking the time over ensuring that they've thought thoroughly through, maybe taking last year and looking at what happened last year and what they can apply and change and make better from last year to this year. But I think they said it wasn't going to be this week, as in last week. Hopefully, fingers crossed for this week, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's the week after. But no, I don't think it's the sign of it's something to worry about or it's something to be excited for. I think it's just they're taking the time and they're really thinking it through.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to bring. I just, like, when this whole 3.5 change came in, it was quite a big update. So I'm expecting it to be quite a shocking. Well, actually, no, I expect it to be a lot of what's on Squadron 42. Actually, that roadmap coming across to 3.7, 3.8 for their Q3, Q4 patch. So I don't think we'll see too much difference, but there will be obviously things that apply, maybe a lot more core tech, like server-side OCS, server meshing, hopefully. I don't know if that's going to be 2019 or 2020, but
we don't know yet. I hope no. I mean, that would be a great performance boost for the end of the year, like this one with the OCS, if they would get server meshing in for the last quarter stages of the year and to improve quality again and performance. So bring in a load of stuff at the beginning of the year, maybe make it messy like Miz was talking about. End of the year, clean it all up with performance improvements. Feels maybe they're doing it the other way. It's because it's a bit of a I don't know, crossover, but you know, in my head it would make more sense. As much information and stuff that you did like last time at the beginning, and then spend the rest of the year improving it, and then bringing in at the end all these, you know, the quality and quality of life stuff to give you a great Christmas.
Yeah, fucking hell yeah. Did they say the middle two patches are going to be the big ones?
I think, but it makes sense because the Gamescom, CitizenCon, like big events, big showtime, showpieces. Yeah. You know, that's the way I look at it. It's like, where are your big showpieces for when you're showing off the game? Unless, like I say, Christmas time, if they are thinking about doing Squadron 42. But we now know Squadron 42 will be 2020 based on the roadmap. So And again, like we discussed this and we said about this, I'm genuinely have major concerns because I just look at the game, the state of the game now, and this is what we talk about, the roadmap, and I look at what the information they've provided, and I go, there's a shit ton of stuff there to do, and they still haven't even got a flight model finished, and it's been at 6 years, 2 years grace, let's say, but 4 years of development time, and they still haven't finalized a fucking flight model. We still don't have fuel in, still don't have salvage, I still can't flip my vehicle over, I still can't repair anything other than obviously like a repair button on a pad which speed bugs everything. There are so many things to fix just in the persistent universe. I mean, none of us have played Squadron 42, so we have no idea what the state of that is, but it's like, it looks great.
Going on like the sort of flight mechanic thing is, yes, it's taken them 6 years to get it there or whatever, but like it's a really key, important part of the game. And I think what's happening is it's not 6 years in development in terms of just let's try and get. They've tried something. You should be pleased in terms of they've tried something, asked everybody, and people have gone, no, that's fucking shit. Okay, we'll go back to the drawing board, try something else, come back. So yes, it's taken time. Yes, that's not great, but maybe hopefully that we'll get by the end of it that they've asked, like through feedback and that we end up getting a flight mechanic that at least a majority of people are happy with. I mean, it's got to be right. It's got to be done, and like once it's working, it's working. Like they don't have to. They technically shouldn't have to tweak it too much. Once they've nailed it and said, right, this is right. It shouldn't be a load of another 2 years worth of development for it. It should be right. Okay, fantastic. We've got the flight mechanic. I suppose the difficulty is while the flight mechanic's not working, it's hard to balance the rest of the part of the game. But I imagine it would kind of fall into place once it's working.
If we're meant to be like, I would love to get my hands on more of the sprints for the game mechanics. So let's just say, for example, they're not going to give us. They don't want to give us the actual full working game mechanics, but they'll give us like maybe a chunk of it, like in a PTU, for example. Imagine if you could break up the PTU into segments or private servers or different type of bits of the game, like they do when they're the computer. So, for example, you could go in and it'd be really basic and clunky and go, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do the salvage part, their basic sprint, and test it and see how I like it and give them feedback of that game mechanic now early. And maybe you could just do that in Evocati. I don't know because Evocati is NDA, but in my head, that would justify the NDA tag on Evocati more, because then you would be truly testing and truly working on the game mechanics, and you could actually get raw onto more of the game mechanics now early and like literally give them that feedback much quicker, because they do the sprints from what we've seen. And I just think that would be really advantageous to them to maybe speed up a little bit more rather than the waiting.
The fact that you say that, I think, is a good point, because the latest in that, again, I think it was the ATV or Red Bull thing where there was on about they had feedback from CitizenCon. Yeah, because I watched two things at once. I can't remember, but anyway, and they said, "Oh, it was really good. We had feedback from." It was ATV because he was talking about the flight mechanics. They had feedback from CitizenCon, and because of that, they've changed, a couple of things which we'll talk about a bit later. But they basically, he was saying, because of feedback, and then my instant thing was, you mentioned it before, Madness, and I was like, well, why, if feedback's that vital and helped you that much, then why the hell haven't you got a few players, like actual players, not just QA testers and that, testing this flight mechanics and turn around and saying to you, no, like, especially before you go right the way down the path where you've got to change the whole fucking thing or start again. It's the same thing. Change the whole thing where you can't tweak it. So, like, why not? Put it out, like you said, put it out on the PTU just for a week even, and say, right, if you want to go and test a new flight mechanic, this builds out on the PTU for a week. Go and give it a test. Give us your feedback.
I mean,
everyone would do it.
If they had it at CitizenCon, why not put it out to everyone and just give them the state so we could testing?
Yeah, it must be able to be. Even if it was just the build that was from CitizenCon, give them that build and say,
and then do a poll. And do a poll afterwards and ask where it was good, where it was bad, what you thought. And because they've done that before with things, haven't they? They've put polls up for things on mainly what concept shit. But
I can guarantee it. The combat pilots out there, who are the best pilots out there, would get their hands on it, and if they could put videos together as well, they would put together some fantastic. I think Nimrod 77, he does amazing videos. Fenrir is in my Discord channel. He posted one of the videos. I watched the missile one that he broke it down really well. He's done another one which we'll talk about on the show today if I could get some time to talk about it. He did a great video. I don't know if it was maybe it was it Fenrir or someone else? Anyway, whoever posted it anyway, it was awesome in my Discord. I really enjoyed watching it. He really breaks down the DPS and why cannons and repeaters talks about, and there's a few other things he talks about, but the bit that I snapped at the beginning was he talks about cannons versus repeaters and why the balancing system that CIG has at the moment is broken. And so they would do that for the sprints for CIG really early, and I know I'm not a game developer, and I know it's probably a bit more complicated than that, and you got to bust out with builds and stuff, but I just think where we're at now, I think you would want to appease a good chunk of the Evocati people. I think wouldn't just be bug testers as such. You could actually become more actual, probably in my head, game, like you would be testing the game mechanics and really providing quality feedback, and also the NDA stuff in my head would be much more justified then, because you're I mean, maybe they'd have to, maybe because they're leaking Civ, whatever, but honestly right now I feel they've got so much to do, they need to speed it up.
But didn't they just recently open the PTU for like a very short period of time?
That was for the 3 patches. That was for the 3 crash patches. It was just like, so why?
But if they can open the PTU for that just to get instant, quick look at it and feedback, why not do that for the flight mechanic? Or any feature they want to put
any new feature that's coming in that's requiring a lot of balancing and a lot of work, then they should. I mean, that's the point of the PTU is they should have the PTU open permanently and allow new things to come in for people to test out. Because it's it's voluntary if you want to go on the PTU. Have the main live build for people who want to play the build that is safe, and working. But then, have the PTU for those who want to test out extra features, or maybe an extra part of the PTU for actual. I think that's a great idea, and I think that would actually save a lot of time in constantly having to come back and forth, like with turrets, for example. If they put turrets in the game and every time they came up with a new option, put that into the PTU and got us to test it, we could give our feedback. And we could have got those turrets probably. Hindsight might not have worked. It would have hopefully got it done quicker.
No, I think you have to. I think you got to. I mean, Evocati is obviously useful, but I think they need to hone it in as well. Just try it out first, see how it runs. But then I think you need to hone it into the people that who are going to give you the feedback that you need accurately initially, because I think when you're first dropping the game mechanics, I think you need to have there's going to be certain people I think who are going to give you the right type of feedback. I don't think everybody's going to give you the right feedback. I think a lot of the reason why they scale it up and stuff is obviously just because of like networking and that stuff. There's going to be certain people I think who are better.
That's kind of why the polls would work though. Like Max said, if they did it as polls, they could ask direct questions that they wanted to hear. Now, okay, you're not going to get every individual, I think this is shit, but what you will get is a very large database of, well, it looks like most people really liked that. And then maybe a little comment section underneath so people can say, no, as a combat pilot, I thought this was crap or whatever. But I'm not saying it's perfect, but it does potentially help alleviate what Max just said, which is they go and say, oh, turrets are working fantastic, we're really pleased with them, and then they give them to us and we're all going, what fucking game are you playing? Because these are shit.
Gravlev works amazing, it's flawless, it works great.
Exactly. And they've even said themselves that it doesn't always show until they give it out to us lot, and then they go, oh, we never saw that happening to us. Well, give it to us then.
Let's tell you early.
And I get, put it on, stick it on PTU.
If you can't move it, give us invites. So find out the people you want, pay on a ticket, get them on a bus, on a plane. I'll come up to Winslow. Not an issue.
It's fine.
I'll come up for an afternoon. I'll test out your flight. I'll test out your flight model. Give you my very honest opinion of it. If I think it's shit, I'll tell you if it's shit. If I think it's good, and I'll tell you why. And you can watch me fly it, and I'll give you the feedback. Not an issue. Absolutely happy to do it.
Asnog made a good point about if the trouble is a lot of the thing. I think they're too concerned about how they look, about how the game looks.
Goes back to what we were talking about,
Yeah, and I think it is striking a balance. They want, like they said, it's open development. I think they should stick to that and just I mean, as much as they can say, this is still open development, it's still very much alpha, and just iterate that a bit more, and then give us these shitty builds. But then you're always going to get people that will shoot it down.
I mean, if you're really being realistic, though, like they do that, they hold this. Oh, we want to it comes across that they want this perfect patch before they bring it out.
Yeah,
and we get it right. That's how it comes across. But then it gets so close to the deadline. Oh shit! We've got to bring it out this quarter. We said we bring it. In the end, it's like boom, there it is. And it's shit.
Yeah.
Anyway. Soon after we get
3.4 was pretty good.
3.4 was good. I'm just in general, it's crap when they release. Or not completely crap, but there's bugs, and we've not got a build that's perfect. We've not got a build that you could show off to people and say, "Oh yeah, look at this. This is fantastic." It's always got issues. So they need, in my opinion, they need to stop worrying about
what they do.
The magazine says, because we've said it time and time again. PC Gamer, all these other ones that keep doing it. 1 week they'll slag it off. The next week they go, "Oh, it's fucking amazing."
Yeah, they're following the crowd, aren't they?
Basically, they put a fucking clickbait title, and whatever fits the story, they'll put it on the story, and that's basically what it is. So I feel like they really need to stop going on. They want to develop a game. They're not fucking designing a film that they need popularity ratings at this point. No. They need to just design the game. Now, if it means bringing out a patch that's buggy but we get to test it and give good feedback, that's more valuable to them than having some games magazine 1 week say, "Oh god, look, it crashed because an alpha has never crashed before in its life." You know,
they need to stop being suppressors. And it's clearly Chris Roberts, who's a perfectionist, doesn't want to put it out there, doesn't want people slagging off his work. But that's the point of being in development and showing us everything. I get it. It's annoying as hell when you jump into a new patch and it's a complete mess. But that's fine.
Be just, Chris. But we don't. I mean, I'm assuming it is. We're assuming it is. There's a big assumption here. I mean,
I think he has to do the okay at the end.
Yeah, he does the final.
I don't think any patch is released without him going. No. So if you go to him, it's okay, but the players' heads aren't showing 50% of the time. He'll be going, nah, cut it then. So I think he probably is the
limit.
But I think for me, we're going to move on to another topic. But for me, I just feel like this 3.5 would have been an opportunity, or definitely in between the patches is a great opportunity, CIG, to drop in just PTU or Evocati game mechanic working patches. So players, whatever that is, can just like the salvage mechanic, whatever it is. Like literally between 3.5 and 3.6's release, drop it in the middle and let them try it out right at the beginning, or even when you're like to the point where it's stable enough and they can kind of get the gist of it, whatever. Just throw it out there, get some people, like get a load of people to come over to your office or whatever. You know, just literally get it in their hands as quickly as possible. I think it will help you, CIG, desperately in the long run, because we've all been playing this game for a long time, and I think honestly, we'll help out big time. We really will. We'll come through. So
going a little bit on that and back, sort of backpedaling a little bit, but in terms of, we kind of talked about how they want more money in the game, and so having it look nicer and that. And I think on top of that, that's kind of how they want it. So again, this Red Bull thing, and I was talking about it, it's like, when's it going? It's like launching in 18 hours. And it's like, I think it's like they want to release the patch and have it come featured on a magazine saying, "Oh, look, 3.5 has come out and it's fantastic." And it's like, because it gets them the headlines and people go, "Oh, I want to try it." They don't want people saying, "Oh, 3.4's come out and it's buggy as fuck." And so while I think most of us would accept it being buggy as fuck, because I think it works better as not just the fact that it's buggy as fuck, but they actually want it as a surprise. So like when they keep going, same as with the last few ships, where it's like, "Oh wow, boom, new ships come out. Oh, and it's flyable straight away." It's a big impact into the community, a big thing to for the magazines to grab on. "Oh wow, they've released another ship and it's flight ready straight away." They seem to keep wanting to punch out these shock surprise things, which
like that,
then gets the chat going.
I like the fact the ships were ready. I don't want any more of the concept ships.
I like that it's ready, but it doesn't need to be a surprise though, does it? They don't need to go, surprise, here's a ship that you weren't expecting. It could be, we're testing this ship, go on and test it now, it's almost flight ready. It's
no, they do need to for the money, though, Miz. You know that. That's like
that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's not just the ships; it's the same for the features. They want to say it as a surprise so that it becomes big news and it gets them more money. So why we want it to be
tying up their NDA,
they're pushing more for the fucking money.
Start suing them.
They want the. My point is they want to not say the new flight mechanic. They don't want to give us the flight mechanic to test because they want to just drop a flight mechanic and say,
that's so dangerous though. We all know, like, look at what happens to so many. I look at it and I go, I don't know. Unless you're like got an awesome track record of dropping, like even Anthem, they like. EA, the biggest fucking game, like they launched the Anthem, they put so many things in this basket. Even they, on the live drop of their Anthem thing, was a massive fail for about 40. I don't know how many hours it was a fail for. You know.
Yeah. Because they don't give a shit, because they don't care, they don't need to.
No,
because people still keep coming.
Well, no, I don't look at that. I look at it as a fail is because you just can't do that. It's just, even for that huge millions and £1 million corporations, you just, honestly, I feel like that is just, I think, honestly, just get it out there, get it on people's hands in EvaCard, get it out to patches. Let us try the sprints. Let us give you some feedback on stuff. I think you'll be impressed with the feedback you'd get. I think it would be far beneficial and it would speed up this whole process for everyone. I mean, why else? We've got the Delta patcher now. You've got the systems in place. You just dropped a freaking, like we said, a patch the other day for just 3 fixes, client crashes. That must have cost you a shit ton of money. If it didn't cost you a shit ton of money, then why can't you do this? I honestly, I don't understand.
I would like to see it go to the Eva Cottages a bit earlier. Give them access to, because they are specifically there to test shoddy builds.
Well, just give them the bits of the builds. Don't have to have the whole build, just the bit that you want them to focus on. And
I think if the earlier they get it in, then the quicker they can start getting things done. They seem to leave Eva Cotti later and later as time goes on. Like they get it maybe a week, 2 weeks before it goes to the normal first wave. I think if they brought it in maybe a month before the normal people, those specialists can get it early, and that should sort of make the patches a little more stable when it comes to the normal people, including myself. I'm a normal person.
Do we, Miz? Because I noticed we have a celebrity in our midst that's made an appearance. Jay Lee, how's it going, buddy?
Listen to what he says. Listen to me.
There was an alien. Did someone say there we had an alien pictures in the background somewhere?
Put it on media to go live. If you look on media,
we it out.
They're talking about it in chat, so you might as well show it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Spoilers.
We go with the spoiler information. So there you go. Hang on, let me just bring this up. So
we need his insight.
He'd be like, NDA.
You can't say NDA anymore because we've seen them.
Don't worry.
They're revealed. Is that a penis?
So this looks like. Well, it looks like a kind of a cow. Is this like an alien cow?
Raising livestock. So
is this Mark Hamill? Is this a Mark Hamill nightmare again? Is he going to have to milk one of these?
and can we farm them? If it's livestock, are we going to be able to farm them?
Oh yeah, those lol. Jaylee, it's like no. The crocodile.
I talked about them years ago.
Yeah, he's
don't
like,
do them anymore.
Yeah, he's like. He's basically what's happened. Jaylee's done what I do with shoes sometimes. Maybe a shoe's not really happened, but I'll have a prototype pair, and then so I'll wear them, and maybe my boss didn't like them at the time or whatever, but then I'll wear them to an event or something, and then all the salespeople will be like, "Those shoes are freaking amazing," and then the boss will be in that awkward position where they'll be like, "Oh, I said I didn't like them, but everyone thinks they're amazing." Oh, yeah, okay. They want to take the praise as well, so they'll be like, "Yeah, those are great. Yeah, they're going to be in the range next season." You're like, tick. Those are in the range next year. Thank you very much.
They're probably in his bin folder already.
Yeah,
like, shit,
exactly.
Chris came along and went,
no. Those were doodles.
Oshi crabs, though. Yeah, we'll have them. Oshi crabs. Can't remember now.
It's cool. This reminds me of like a little bit. The face. This reminds me of a mixture of the what's the creature from Star Wars? The one that kind of like bites, like Luke kills in the in the lightsaber without a sword. He force throws the rock and it hits the door and it crushes the Rancor. Thank you. Yeah, that's what I got it.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like a Rancor. Then it also kind of meets Rancor meets the Gouger. The Gouger. Yeah.
James like, here's a Rancor.
No one will ever know this one.
No, but then mixed with the Pacific Rim, the creatures in Pacific Rim, it reminds me of that kind of Kaiju. Yeah, Kaiji. Thank you, Jay. See, look, Jay Lee's like, he's like, I know that one.
I was that one too.
Yeah, but then the 4 hour. Yeah, anyway, I could go through the list of things, but they look great. They look great. They look really cool. Very, very.
They do look good. They do look good.
Very cool.
So
it's nice. I wish I could
confirm
draw that.
Don't get too excited because he's binned them. So we ain't having them. You're going to get pet rocks instead.
I wouldn't mind a pet rock. You won't have to clean up after, at least.
So, like I've had a lot of people talk to me about the shipjacker armor. Jay Lee is incredibly divisive. There's a lot of people like I had somebody. I think I was wearing the ship armor. Someone came up to me the other day, whatever. Was like, "Why the fuck are you wearing this shit?" Like really didn't like detest it. Like I don't get why people wear this helmet. It's like I don't get the one with the arrow, the kind of the arrow through the thing and stuff. And like it's just terrible.
The horns. I said
and
the
like,
horns.
The people with the horns and
I was wearing the one with the lights on, and people still going, "Why the fuck are you wearing that?" I mean, admittedly, it's
Christmas was so 2018.
It's almost February, but that's not the point.
I'm just gonna say. More, please. I think they're freaking awesome. Keep going. I love them. I think the shipjacker stuff is awesome. Like I said, I want to see a shipjacker land vehicles. Gypsy jacker.
I mean, funnily enough, the shipjacker reminds me of stuff that I actually said a long time ago that I would like for a ship to look like. I know we're not going to get it, but the whole kind of kit bash put together type of ship, I would love to see that. And land vehicles would be cool. So. Getting it in the armor, you never know. It might be one step closer to being able to get a ship
full game. Similar.
Yeah. Well, what's their pet?
Well done, Mac.
What's the shipjacker pet look like? What's that? What's his armor? Are you gonna have armor on pets? A rock.
Pet armor.
My gun. Pet armor. Yeah, and like little. I need a ride. We need the ride. You need the harness on the back and just kind of like just take it, go for a spin.
Can we get the animals as mounts though?
Yeah, we need animal mounts. It's got to happen. We've got to have flying animals. We've said this before actually. I think on one of the previous ones we were like flying out, and then it gets into Avatar, and we're getting into a whole new world of just like it's a whole different game. It's like a whole different game. It's just like no. Let's just keep the spaceships for now.
Don't need ships. We've got
flight mechanics,
dinosaurs,
animals. Yeah, no. Just no.
Fuck it. Let's just play Ark.
No. But I definitely think it will make the more. This is what we were saying. This is I think a lot we were talking about earlier in the stream. It's like we want to see this on ATV. You know what I mean? Like we want to see there's a lot of us are just desperate to see the alien. What you guys. I know you probably got tons of it.
Because they just don't want to give too much away, I suppose. But
it's open development. It's signed on the thing. Open development.
Don't tell me.
Next lawsuit.
I'm about them.
It's there. I pay. Well, whoever pays a subscription. I don't anymore because the content's not been good. But I've given. No, it hasn't. I go with the. At the end of the day, I make my stand with the wallet. At the end of the day, if what I'm getting is worth it, then I'll sub. So last month I subbed because I got 3 freelancer variants.
I sub purely for Jay Lee. If Jay Lee left, I would stop my sub. Just it's for you, mate. So every time you speak to Chris, just get that $10 from him.
Someone keep
You're sending it to Jay Lee.
Jay Lee directly.
Basically, you're not getting that, Jay Lee.
You're just literally admitting to bribery on live on straight. Literally, you're. That's unbelievable. Terms of service. He's clay.
Claiming on expenses $10 from Mac to buy beer.
Right.
Give me a milkshake.
Was there anything?
Can we talk about the thing hanging in the playship, Miz? I don't think so. We did talk about it. I didn't talk
Westbrook.
about it. Other people talked about it.
We did. We did discuss it. I will bring another picture.
Doesn't have one of those hanging in it.
Hang on. There's another.
It's aliens.
We have another picture from Richard Towler.
Between studios. I know we was talking earlier about how they have rivalry in ATV, showing our ATV is better than yours.
Yeah,
I think they have the same thing going on with the offices and how good their office looks and how good the reception looks. So.
Yeah, and this is we were saying we have that was the previous one, but then this is the one we got the Javelin and the Idris, that miserable painted, unofficially painted.
Who painted?
Until it's officially painted. Miz didn't do the base though. I don't think the bit that's the best bit, the base that Mac really loves. The clear,
I love that base.
He loves the clear base. Is selling it. That's all he wants. Just send him the base.
Yeah.
Don't send him the shit. Just send him the base.
I like the fish tank. I like the fish tank glass design. I don't know if anyone of you noticed, but that is the design from memory of the one in the where you buy the ship in game. In game, it's got the gold statues in it. Mm-hmm. It's a replica of that from, I think.
It's unofficially to scale as well, I believe. We're still assuming
unofficially to scale.
We believe it's a scale.
It's a tweet.
If you use the thumb,
but it looks I mean, that is bigger than that, so I'll definitely say it looks to scale.
Definitely scale.
And the rest of the Idris does look amazing. I wonder who did the
painting. That's what I want to know. Who did the painting?
Actually, is that in game or is that in the studio? Are we certain it's not in game?
It could be in game.
It's that realistic. In fact, that's the new landing mechanic for the big ships, because before they couldn't really land. That's now the new landing.
That's docking.
That's the new docking. That's live docking right now.
The new docking. That's the only docking.
Again, as we were saying, that's another mechanic. Get a game sprint in there, test it out, throw it out there, get some docking on stream. That would be fantastic. I know a lot of people would just sign up just to join Evocati just for the docking. They might get the wrong idea. They might think it's something else, but at least you get them in there to test it. Maybe. So what else have we got on the roadmap? We got loads of stuff on the document. We got some really good, interesting conversations. I got one for Chris. Unfortunately, Christian from CIG isn't here, so we'll have to save that one for later. But just for everyone that's in chat, so when he doesn't see this, we got a bit just about elevators. Woo! Just for him, he'll love that. We have a little bit for elevators. Here's a conversation for you guys about EMP. The conversation of why CIG want. This is one of the reasons why This is the kind of the soapboxy bit. Okay, so this is my kind of like little soapboxy bit. I have two soapboxy things. The first one is the EMP conversation. I don't want any more EMPs in the game. Like, I'm done with the three that we have now. EMP
ships?
Yeah, no more EMP ships. Like, I literally don't want any more of them. We've got the Hawk, we've got the Saber Raven, and we've got the I just don't want any more until they've fleshed out more.
Should have an EMP.
Until they fleshed out more what's going on, I just don't want any more. I just
what else is with an EMP?
It's just bloody messy is what they are. That's what the way I look at it. It's just
the chips do the EMP. Does it still cut out your ship? Like take all your power off? Like
your own. I think a certain ship does, but then other ships don't. Like the Saber Raven, I don't think kills your own power. I think you're shielded.
Because if you're in atmosphere and you do it, do you just fall like a brick?
A new flying model. We'll see about that.
It's not because I got lost to you Phantom yesterday. Not at all. I completely understand why. No, but I mean, what I mean is like there's so many other things for them to kind of like crack down on.
Is there any other ships that they've mentioned that have EMPs that are coming?
No, it's the surprise that Miz was talking about. This is the surprise. I'm like, I don't want a surprise with another EMP ship. No, you're saying like the CIG always surprises us for money.
You might be all right.
I don't want any more. I don't want any more.
I don't think they've got any EMP ships planned.
Please, no more. Like literally, that should be enough. Except no more.
The one I got told about last week.
No more. And like I said, for me at the moment, the bigger thing, and I'm watching Nimrod's video, which again, like I say, is a tremendous video, which I think he really sums up about the flight model. And this was like add on to my previous conversations about the flight model, which is about the way the guns and the reason why cannons are so powerful and why the flight model actually, and this is why the flight model does need to be fixed, is because if, for example, right, because the way it works currently, and I'll try and do a really simplified version of this as much as I possibly can, because it's the way I can figure it out. So at the moment, say for example, you have a repeater, okay? So within 10 seconds of firing your repeater fire, gives you a certain DPS value, let's say 200, okay? The way that CRG balances it at the moment is that my cannon fire, one round, is the same as that 10 seconds of firing with the repeater. Sounds kind of okay. You kind of think that seems kind of okay. But the problem you've got is, like, I have to maintain a consistent hit and time frame to do the same amount of DPS damage that you've done with one fire of your cannon fire round. You just go boom, boom, 200. I have to go track you for ages, and with a broken ESP it's not working, and then try and get the same value to kind of hit. Now, it's, like I said, it's a great video. If someone doesn't have it, feel free to link it in the chat. The chat's open for link. And he basically breaks it down, and it got me thinking. I was thinking to myself, if CRG hadn't made the cannon so powerful, the DPS, I assure you right now, we would have had 1 year of the worst, and also it's maybe the worst flight model you have ever seen. Because if they made the balancing system more even between the way the repeaters fire and the way the cannon fires, so for example, it takes 2 shots to do 200 DPI rather than 1 hit DPS, sorry. You would have to then track again for that second shot, which would mean you'd probably miss it more often than not, which means fights would go on for so much longer and would be so exhausting as they already are, and be so out of balance. Honestly, without the cannons working the way they have, they've actually managed to save the flight model and combat this patch. But if that breaks in any stage of the match, if they break that for the next patch, we literally will have the worst, like, it will be dead, like unbelievably dead. So, yeah, it got me thinking about it the other day, and I was thinking, holy shit, thank God at least the cannons work, because if they didn't, it would be horrible for the small fighters. For the big ships, you can still hit the targets because they're really big, but for the small fighters, that combat is dead for many pilots already. Anyway, it was a really good video. Definitely worth checking it out. And so, yeah, those are my kind of... Oh, yeah, there's one other thing, but this is nothing to do with the soapbox thing. This is just... I read this on Reddit, and this kind of is one of the reasons why there's definitely StarCitizen fans out there. I love you to bits, but please, like, this is why I don't want to play your game. StarCitizen Orbit's gravity is not immersive. Changed my mind. I want to ask your opinion about that topic. StarCitizen aims to be an immersive, aka close enough to how reality works. Let's take Hurston, for example. And then literally, I was yawning by the point that they got to this. You fly upwards from Lorville, you reach space at 100k. Then you sit there. Then geosynchronous orbit around Hurston at any given height. Blah, blah. Literally, I was like, dude, if you want to play that type of game, go and play Hellion. Like, I want to play a fun game. I don't, and I wonder how much CIG gets too wrapped up in that simulation gameplay. I wonder how much that's important to them, because they know it's simulation. They want to be good, but like, I don't want to play that person's game, is all I'm saying.
They've always said, haven't they, that they want to make it as realistic as possible, but it won't sacrifice the fun.
Better not.
It's a very difficult balance, though, isn't it? It's like what stick are you judging on? It's like, I find this immersive and fun. No, I find this fun. No, I find this one fun. Well, it's like, different people's realism and fun is definitely different. I mean, at the end of the day, it's fucking Chris Roberts' version of fun. So I just gotta all hope that you're on Chris Roberts' level of fun, because that's what it's basically is. It's like the bloke saying, change my mind. No, we ain't changing your fucking mind. It's a Chris Roberts stream. You'll back to Chris Roberts stream. Ask Chris and basically go with that. If you don't like it, play a different game, because that's where you're at with it. Yeah,
Lurch, we're going to come to that. That's a really good one that we're definitely going to come to, because it's on my list, on the thing to discuss. That's definitely on the AI stuff. But we're talking about fun. Now, we never discussed this on the show. This is the first time we're going to discuss it. I know it's a hot topic with Twerk17. I know he goes, literally the vein on the side of his head goes ballistic, pops out when he talks about it. I'm actually with Twerk on this one, buddy. I'm with you on this one. The flight times to and from locations. How do you feel about the flight times at the moment? What's your thoughts on the flight times, the time it takes to get to the
See, at the moment,
chat, go for it. Just tell us what you think.
At the moment, they seem way too big. Same with the atmospheric, getting out of Hurston's atmosphere. But it's all about balancing. So we want the universe to feel big. If they had it so that you would go from Hurston to Crusader in a matter of like seconds, it'll be useful at the moment, but it won't feel like a big, vast universe. And I actually like the fact I'm with it that it takes a while to get there, depending on the ship you're using. But also at the moment, we don't have things to play with, things to do in game. We don't have lots of mechanics that will keep us entertained in the ship while we're traveling that duration. So, and I think that I'm with them when they say the reason that they want it to be so long is so that you also have more of a thoughtful play. So you, instead of thinking, I'm going to jump here now because there's a mission over here, and you jump there, it takes 2 minutes, you're there, and you think, oh shit, forgot my weapon. You jump all the way back again, you go down to Lorville, you pick up your weapon, you come back to Crusader. I think it should be a case of, let's plan this mission out, let's make sure everyone's got what they haven't. If they haven't got it, it's their own fault, they'll have to make do. And I agree with having long... I don't like the fact that it takes ages to get out of Hurston. I think that's a bit too much.
Okay.
But the jump times, I'm with on that, and I like it. And I just can't wait to get more things to do in the ship to entertain us. Because that's, you'll be planning your mission while en route to places.
Okay. Miserable. Your thoughts on the flight?
We have
Flight
talked
times.
about this before, because I've kind of said it, like with MMOs and stuff. It's this again kind of links back to the other thing. It's difficult because different people's opinion on what's the right amount of flight time and things, and it also, I think it also varies on what you're doing. So if you're a solo pilot, fucking flying out of atmosphere and next, probably boring as fuck because you're doing nothing. You've got no one to talk to. You've not got anything else. Especially if you're in a single fighter ship, all these mechanics that are supposed to be coming in, that's still not going to affect you. You're not going to get out of your cockpit and start tweaking your ship. You're just going to be sitting in your ship getting out of atmosphere. So it's going to take a long time. If you're grouped and you're chatting and you're looking at other things, doing other things, then that flight time becomes negligible because you're too busy chatting and organising things and planning your raid or whatever you want to do or where you're going next. And kind of like the chat goes and the pilot's doing his thing, and so it's not so bad. The difficulty is that to try and balance that between both of them, and then as much as people want to feel that the place is big, they feel that travel time is great, if you want to have a short timing game, it's almost impossible. Like I still worry, and we've had this conversation a long time ago about like if you want to group up with friends, it's like, well, my mate he logged off fucking 2 systems away.
My mate shit.
No, yeah,
Shitty.
your mate shit.
A good friend of all of us.
2 systems away. And then you decide that you actually no mate, I am free today. Let's go and fly together. Oh, I can't because it's going to take me an hour to get to you. Like
that is the dilemma, isn't it? Is when you've got friends
I don't know
in other places. It's like, well, okay, we won't be playing today because it's going to take me all afternoon to get to you, and I've got to go to work, and my wife wants me to do this, and I've got to milk the dog and take the kids to school, or whatever.
Milk the dog.
Don't you milk your dog?
Cow. Milk the dog and walk the cow.
Milk the dog, walk the cow.
I think for me, it's like the way I look at it, and I'm with Twerk on this one. Is it was fun for the it's fun for like when you haven't got anything really. It's kind of just a bit of fun, Like there's no real purpose to the game. I'm not really delivering. You're getting persistence. No, it's fun to start with. It's like it takes. Like I had.
Fun.
I know,
I just
seriously.
drove to Wilmslow at the weekend for 3 hours. Trust me, it wasn't fun.
It was hilarious. I was with Twitch the other day, and we were with I can't remember who it was now. I'm sorry if I've forgotten your name. I do apologize. But it was he. We were at Lorville, and we were trying to get to help someone really quickly. And foolishly, we weren't paying attention to what he spawned. But he spawned a Starfarer Gemini to take 3 of us off of freaking Lorville. So we got in, and you immediately heard us, both of me and Twitch, go, what the fuck have you spawned this for? But anyway, we just rolled with it, and literally, he didn't it took us about 30 minutes to get off the planet. Me and Twitch were laughing our asses off because it was just so funny. Like we either cry or laugh, right? And it was just so much fun. Like it was fun. That was genuinely fun. Now, would I want to do that again? No, but at the moment it was fun, and so for me, the way I look at it is we've got the mechanic in place. It's been there. I just think just reduce the time that it takes to kind of jump to things. Definitely with Mac. Definitely, I think in Atmosphere we should be able to jump a little bit higher out and do Quantum. Hopefully that's what they've said they're going to fix. I think they've already commented on that they're going to do that. They're going to make you jump a bit lower in Atmosphere. You can Quantum jump out and stuff, which is good. And I just think until they've got more of the systems and the longer gameplay, I just don't think we need to have such huge amounts of time, especially if you're a new player.
They seem to not. And this goes back to the whole selling point type of thing. They seem to not want to. They want us to get used to shit because they don't want it to be changed. And then we'll go, oh, it was much quicker to do that last week. They want us to, no, this is how long it's going to take you, so you get used to it. And this is how long it's going to take you to make money, so get used to it.
But they did that with the claim times, though. Remember, the claim times when the first claim came, they were ridiculous. Yeah. And then they changed them because they realised, actually, you need to have some sort of game. You need to have some sort of fun playing the game.
Yeah. They're gonna balance it out a lot more, but don't forget, a lot of the reasons why it's become frustrating is because of bugs where we die when we shouldn't.
It doesn't help.
Or things like that, which mean we have to go through it. Plus, there's nothing to do on ships at all at the moment. It's like we're literally, like you say, you just sat there doing nothing because there's nothing else to do.
I can tell you when I'm on a plane going abroad and it takes fucking 12-hour flight, it ain't fun.
I would.
Fun people.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. I would say 3 minutes to get to Lorville. 3-4 minutes to get to Lorville would be my time. The time I think, and even I'm thinking that might be too long. But I would say 3 minutes to get to Lorville from say Hex. No. That would be.
I really think there needs to be quite a difference.
Time to have a pee and come back again.
I think there needs to be. I think if you take, like, at the moment, it's obviously still very much in development, so there's things missing, there's things that aren't quite balanced. When the game is fully realised, I expect people will quite appreciate, maybe not the current length of what it takes, but somewhere in between, say, 3 minutes and what's the longest it takes? 10, 12 minutes?
It's 12 minutes.
I mean, when you think that Microtech and Hurston and Crusader are actually pretty close together in the Stanton. When we get Artcore and it takes nearly 20 minutes, probably a little longer potentially, and then Microtech right on the fringe.
It's too much.
That is probably going to be too much.
Way too much.
And that's when they'll start reducing the times. But there needs to be that feeling.
Why then, Mac, though? I'm asking you, why do that now then? Why not do it now? You already know the math is already there. The math is clearly evident that once you scale the game up, the numbers will make the game unbearably long without any gameplay to do within the spaceships. If they drop any other, just honestly, the math has already been proven by people that the length of time to go anywhere and stuff will be just painful. That, like, you'll literally have to start your stream like 40 minutes before just to get to a location so you could try and do something new.
Hey, I don't mind it when I'm jumping because I can just sit back and talk. I can start looking at stuff and reading chat. It works for me.
But
no, I agree. They are probably a little too long at the moment. I think they should decrease them. Whether they do it now or wait and see how it feels when Artcore's in, which, I guess we probably know how it's going to feel, but...
Do it now. Make it more fun.
I want to more. It's like they want to get us used to this. They want us to think about our what we're doing. At the moment, I agree. I think it is a little too long. And Hurston getting out of Atmosphere, I think, is very much too long. And I think they need to reduce that.
I mean, I think
there needs to be a length to it in order for us to appreciate the scale.
I agree. 100. I didn't say instant, and I've never, like, Twerk is the same. He's never said instant travel. He's always said a time frame, but what he's always saying is an acceptable time frame to make the gameplay interesting, especially whilst we're in a stage at the moment where there's very little to really do, and there's the fact that things get wiped all the time. It's like, it's like, but honestly,
keep talking about things to do between quantum travel and stuff. Like, I know it's not in there, but when it comes in, like, what exactly are you expecting to do? Like, I know they're saying checking your components and shit. Okay, fair enough. But you're going to do that
There'll be games, mini games, probably card games, Moby-Glass games. There'll be videos. There'll be films. You can watch news reports
in space while we're flying.
Vanguard, Hyperforce, trying to set that high score. And also, what I'd like to see is the option of having the sim pod in game. So while you're traveling, you will have.
Yeah, we talked about that.
You'll train. There's going to be plenty of stuff to do, but ultimately, it is going to be maintaining your ship, talking to other people. I think for solo flyers, it's going to be a pain in the ass. And I suggest the best option for you guys is probably to get someone
fly solo,
someone to fly your ship, pay someone to fly your ship to a location, get commercial transport where you get maybe a TV, some entertainment stuff. Until we get it in game, I don't know. I think at the moment it is too long. I think
but
it
still
needs
seems crazy that you're going to watch TV in game.
To be honest, as long as you're watching Twitch, as long as you're watching Twitch in game, that's fine with me. But watching your favorite streamer in game on a thing. But the for me, Miz, if you ask me what I would like to do, if we have persistence in the game and the ability to die on the spaceship that you're on and recover and respawn or whatever without any consequences, because we still won't have Death of the Spaceman, because it's going to take a long time to flesh that out. I would be quite happy to do onboard combat shooting each other. So one person's at one end of the ship and the other person at the other, and you have your mini little kind of like pistols at dawn, or maybe hand-to-hand combat. Maybe when they do we can do like the knifing and stuff, we can have no guns, and then you can have like the lights go off in the cabin, and then you could just run around like Nerf guns or something, just kind of pretend
we can punch each other.
CQC, that would be great fun.
Taser hide and seek.
That would entertain me all the way. And the problem is the minute you arrive, I'd be so busy still probably trying to kill somebody on my ship and having a bit of a laugh and a rummage that we probably forget and then get killed on exiting jump. That would be my entertainment. Is just running around like fighting each other and just messing around. That would be great on some of the big ships, because that's ultimately these huge trips. I'm not going to be taking a small ship. I'll be taking a big ship for the long quantum jumps. That's
the best advice. Make friends.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't fly solo.
And then fight them.
And then fight them on board in the dark.
Yeah.
And maybe bring in like a crazy alien as well and just release him.
Yes.
For the sake of entertainment around your ship.
I'm so fucking bored. Hang on, let's release this alien.
Well, we haven't xenomorph in the cargo hold.
That'll never go wrong, will it?
Release the xenomorph.
No, I do understand this exactly. It's like people talk about the stuff they're going to do, and it's like, well, what actually are you going to do? I'm like, I've never played a game. Cooking.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not against it or anything. I can honestly say I'm not even sure myself how I feel about this. I suppose until the other mechanics are in, I'm not sure myself how much I want the time limits to be, because I am concerned that it's alright saying play a mini game, but fuck, I'm playing StarCitizen. I didn't log into StarCitizen to play Angry Birds or to watch someone stream. I can watch someone stream while playing another game constantly. I've got two monitors. I didn't log into StarCitizen to do that. No. And like Chris Roberts says, StarCitizen, I want people to feel it like it's not a game. They're logging into a different life to get away from it. And it's like, okay, fine. But it's the same as if your components failed. You'd be mega pissed off if your components failed every time you did a journey. I don't want, every time I walk past my fire alarm, I don't take it down and check that the fucking battery's still working, and then put it back up again.
Once a year.
Oh, just checking. Yeah.
just every couple of months. Just making sure. Yep. Okay, we're going to live. We're going to live this evening.
If I did it like StarCitizen, it'd be literally every time I walk out this room. Right, hang on, just beep, 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 it's still going. You don't. Okay, so it's like
it's true. You're right.
I can honestly say I don't know.
You're so right.
Until we see the shit in there, I don't know. But tell it to the boarders. Are people going to board every time? Are people going to board every time you do a flight?
It comes back to that reality thing, like we were talking about again, the kind of like the anoids kind of like, oh, it's not gravity, and the spaceship has to travel. This is the correct distance, and the thrusters are this level, so they will only be able to generate. Because if we speed it up, there'll be people grumbling saying, well, that's not realistic actual flight travel. If you actually had a ship of that mass with those thrusters, its quantum drive would only be. You're like, oh,
I can safely say 100% don't want that.
I'm like,
I don't want that.
But I always go, it's John Wick is my shining example. John Wick does a fantastic job of blending fun entertainment with real. Like John Wick, he reloads his gun pretty accurately. It feels very realistic, but it's complete noir and violence on another level that's completely unrealistic. That for me is what I want from StarCitizen, is that level of downright awesomeness, but it's realistic.
The balance is I don't even know myself. Like, I hate games with instant travel. Like, when I played MMO, because I'm a big MMO player, so I used to like the games where you had MMO and you had to get on a horse. Like, I think Dark Age of Camelot, you got on one, and it auto-piloted you, but you sat on, Lord of the Rings, and it...
Oh, you muted yourself, Miz.
I thought that was my headphones. I thought I'd just unplugged it.
You're muted. You're still muted.
Still muted.
Yeah, you're muted. Max, okay, but you're muted.
Maybe it was someone saying, greater power saying, we don't want to listen to Miserable anymore.
I'm not quite sure why.
Sign what you're trying to say. I
think you're just being too salty for your own good. I think nature, the stream has just it's just literally nope, Miz is not allowed to be this salty. Well, that's one way to shut him up. Yeah,
Chris Roberts is there with the button.
Right. Well, whilst Miz tries to get his audio back, we can. Where are we? So we'll Mac. So we'll come to your soapbox thing because once Miz kind of gets his thing working,
shit together.
Yes, gets his shit in order. Yeah. Where have we got? Okay, here's a question. So, does anyone else feel like every month of the year they should randomly pick a distributor in game and allow you to buy or upgrade to? Okay. So like every month, rather than doing every anniversary sale, we get a day. We do in a year, maybe we get on a looping kind of thing. We just get every month you get someone. Every month you can buy their ship. So January will be Anvil month. February could be
real cash?
Aegis. Well, yeah, both. You CCU and cash. It's just literally you could buy the ship. So you could you get the chunks of the. And it would loop, around. I don't know how many manufacturers we've got off the top of my head, but and then you still have your sales and you still have your big grouping sales, but maybe, you could do like that. That would be, interesting. Because at the moment, I do feel like what sale trick. I do kind of think that they don't do that.
I mean, I don't see a problem if they want to start. Come on, you can figure it out. Unplug your mic. Unplug the mic. Turn off Discord. Reset Discord. Plug it all back in again. Start afresh. I don't think he's going to get it. No, I don't see a problem with them if they want to start doing that. I mean, I'm done buying any ships. I'm done buying ships. If they want to do that, then fair enough, because they will fund the game even better by doing that. So yeah, I'm all for it. I don't see an issue with it. Obviously, a lot of people might be like, "Well, they're still selling ships," but
next question:
if it's going to fund the game more, yeah, fair enough.
Will be a warehouse or something similar you can build on your landing plot to store things long term?
Yes, probably. I know they've mentioned about hangars and being able to store even full Endeavour modules inside your hangar at landing locations. You will then be able to build hangars. Well, they haven't said you're going to be able to build hangars per se at these, when you build your own bases. But I think eventually they will allow that sort of thing once they find a way of doing it. But there'll be storage, maybe not for ship spawning, but for storage, there will be storage types of habitation pods that you'll be able to build using your Pioneer potentially, and then further down the line. So yeah, I would expect to see a vast amount of different types of buildings, styles of buildings, types of buildings going forward. But until they start even getting land claims working in game, which is not priority, then I don't think we're going to see it any time soon at all. But one day.
One day. Miss, how you getting on? You back? Hello, we can hear you.
I can hear you, Miss.
It just stopped working, but it's not stopped working. It's just Discord has stopped recognizing it.
But is that actually Miz though, or is it someone like an imposter?
The whole time, my voice meter was still going up and down, so it's not that the microphone didn't actually stop working. Discord just decided, we're not listening to it anymore.
Too salty. It was because it was too salty for Miz. That's what it was. You've got a filter.
That's not salt.
Salty filter.
We were talking about this before. This was not salt.
Salt detected. Exterminate.
No, you don't apologise. I'm not saying don't apologise. I'm just saying it's because it was a high level of salt. It was getting stuck in the microphone.
Salt. It wasn't salt.
Let's get an opinion in chat. Was it salt? I mean, we'll see what chat. Everyone put some salts in chat, please. It was definitely salt. When cost it? Okay, so where we go? Oh yeah, here we go. So Numify. This is another little thing I like from the captain's table, which actually got me thinking, and I agree with him on this one. An affordable industry ship, because $150 isn't realistically that affordable. Isn't that really an affordable? I still think it's overpriced actually for what's called an entry level ship. like $150. Whereas, if you think about an arrow is like what, $70, and that arrow is better than a Gladius, and it's a freaking amazing little combat ship.
Yeah, I think starter or entry should be like $60 or less. For
what do you mean by industrial? Do you mean like the mining rather than?
Well, yeah, just nothing that's not a combat or an overall all-rounder ship, but something specifically designed. I actually thought the Vulture was going to be that sort of price.
Auroras, like the Aurora cargo one, that's like an industrial ship.
In a way, but it's
cargo.
But
I mean, the cargo pod's not working. But it's the cargo. It's a cargo.
Add it to the list.
I've got a mark on my head now where I headbutted the microphone. Yeah, it's an industrial ship.
Oh yeah, you got the whole. There you go.
Irav, you really think like this is a really big one? So this person, Irav, says, Littlebitofmadness. Remember, real money for ships will go away after beta, and all ships will be able to be bought purchasable in game. I hope you're right. I think you're wrong.
They will still do packages, though. They'll still do starter sales and things. And I think there should be an industrial starter package or entry.
That's like EA saying, we're going to get rid of loot boxes permanently.
Honestly, I don't understand. I honestly think the MISC Prospector should have been starter price.
They said it. They just
said it. Because it's the size of a starter ship. It's your starting rung up if you want to be a miner rather than a cargo runner. Why on earth is that not a starter ship?
You know all about the miners, don't you?
What good reason other than they just know that they can sell it for more money, so they've sold it for more money?
$150 is too much for that ship. It really is.
I think the Vulture, the Prospector, should be starter cash-wise, like
it's too late now.
The Avenger style price. Yeah, it's way too late now.
It's too late now.
But I think that should have been the case. I was actually shocked when they advertised it as a starter ship for industry, and it was over the $100 mark. I thought, well,
it's like they've lost touch in what's in reality of what things are costing now because they've got high-end game ships. It's like, oh no, that's a good bargain. But people said it. People said it when it came out and said, oh, this is 100 and something quid. Oh, that's cheap. It's not fucking cheap.
Yeah,
it's a fucking beginner input thing. Okay, so levels. Hang on, let me just mute. It's
so interesting.
It's not. I'm sorry, but
don't apologise. This is not that show.
No,
don't apologise.
No, I'm not. I'm not apologising for the salt. I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm out of touch in reality and what people consider expensive. But to me, $100 for a ship that's not even a starter package, that's expensive for a fucking ship, in my opinion. Because I don't spend that sort of money on a game anywhere.
Super expensive.
So to say that this is
it should be game price. It should be your average game entry price level that you need to have a ship to get in. I mean, make it a little more expensive than Aurora.
Why
Mustang prices? Why?
Yeah.
Why should it be more? Why should it be more expensive?
Yeah. Why are you forced to fly a cargo Aurora, say, over a mining ship if mining is what you want to do? Why can't you jump in at entry level and mine?
I think it's more to do with the potential of your earnings within game. The potential earnings for a Prospector will likely be higher than 3 SEU of an Aurora. I mean, unless you're dealing with Widow and you've got an easy run there and back 40 times, you're probably gonna not earn as much.
You could make it have a weak mining laser, so it could only do weaker resources, so it didn't have the potential to mine so much.
And then maybe an upgrade afterwards would be a better mining laser.
I mean, but what would be?
We should be designing these fucking ships.
Well, here's my question.
Fuck it. Let's. Has anyone fancy backing? We're going to crowdfund.
We'll make them all as models and painted first.
I can assure you now, with our track record of making amazing games, we'll get maybe about £4. But it will be a wonderful show to watch as we try and attempt to do it. It'd be like the biggest divorce. It'd be like literally Mac's not around, Miserable's painting something, and Madness is busy doing shoes. The game's never coming out.
Man's too busy running birthday parties.
Birthday parties,
That's what you need to start focusing
on. I know, I should be an event organizer. Really good at it. No, do you know what got me thinking though? I was like, okay, CRG has an opportunity to produce another industry starter ship, and I was looking at going a fuel ship. We have the Starfarer. What is the refueling starter ship? I think they should make a $60 refueling starter ship.
I disagree.
Because I really want someone to come around with a nice big fuel tank that can fill me up.
It's like someone coming around with a jerry can
Brilliant.
Pick up your thing and say, well, now you're stuck here.
Hey, do you know what?
The Vulcan.
Do you know what? I need it. I need it.
The Vulcan is your AA van. That
but the Vulcan isn't.
How much is the Vulcan?
Well, no.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's why I said I disagree, because
how much was the Vulcan? Like nearly 300.
Yeah, that's the point. Is his money? It was his Vulcan. We're talking about the value. We're saying like that's not a starter ship. That's not a.
Yeah, you all heard
$200. Yeah.
Industrial starter fuel ship rather than the cost. Then right, the cost was the issue on that one.
You don't need a starter. The Vulcan is it? Yeah, all these people with money. No,
to be fair, I'm actually getting sick of talking about the price of ships, because ultimately they will be available in game, and that's where we need to focus. We don't need to focus on the price of ships now. If people want to buy that, then they can do so to support the game. No one's forcing people to buy ships.
No. I get what you're saying, but if you look at it in terms of not necessarily how much it costs the real money, because I
much
do
is
get
an
what you're saying,
Aurora
that it's up
in-game?
to you when you buy it. But what I'm saying, more in the case of in-game, you would then want the Prospector to cost the same as the Aurora.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean?
How much is an Aurora in-game? Does anyone know?
The in-game costs for it to be a starter price.
Yeah.
Because it would then make it an entry-level ship.
That's what we kind of mean.
Money aside,
that's not. Yeah,
think of it in game money.
But the prices of ships in game are nowhere near
Yeah, there you go. 200. So okay, let's just
speculation. We don't really know what the price is going to be at the final end of it.
But we do know what a Prospector costs now, though. We know what a Prospector costs now, and that's 150. Yeah, it's a 1.5, 1.8 million, 4.6 million.
What I'm saying is that's not guaranteed to be 1.6 million when the game is released. That's just what they've first pushed out there as a starting point.
What we do know is that the price of the ships is based on the component parts and the value of the things within the ships. We do know that.
But also, the missions that we run, how do we know they're not going to up the rewards of them drastically in the future?
No, we don't.
They already have done. They already have done, because we used to get missions that were hundreds of UEC. Now we're getting missions that are 7,000 UEC and beyond.
Yeah.
So all of this talking about value of real money, in-game money, is because
that still
ultimately
doesn't change the fact that they put the Prospector over a higher value
starter.
Regardless of what currency you're looking at, just a higher value ship. Like, in other words, it's not a ship.
I don't agree with them putting the price of the Prospector.
I suppose what we're trying to say is
massively in real life.
Say you log in with 1,000 credits, and you don't have a ship. You just have 1,000 credits, and you go into the.
Well, you will have a ship. There's no way you can't have.
No. But Mrs.
Just saying, imagine
it
that you log in on day one. They don't give you a ship. You just have 1,000 credits, and you go into the open hangar. And and it's like other games have done it, right? You've got 1,000 credits. All these ships cost 1,000 credits, and one will be a mining one will be a combat one, one will be a cargo one, and one will be a repair one or something, whatever. And you then pick your ship for 1,000 credits.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But forget how much it is, whether it goes up and down on whatever patch. Why can't we just have one of everything
at that level,
at a starter level, at the same price?
Well,
that's what I suppose we're trying to say. So
because you're forced.
Because
yeah.
You want to have access to those mechanics straight away. Why can't if I want to be a miner in my life? Why can't I be a miner? Why do I have to do something else first? If I just love repairing shit, why do I have to be a cargo runner until I can afford to be a repairer and then go and repair?
No, that makes sense.
But no, he's right. But think about a game, any game you play, for example, like Destiny, or if you play again Anthem, for example. Right at the minute you log into the game, ignoring the kind of the testing kind of thing, but once the game is kind of there, you have the ability to choose. I want to be the light armor person. I want to be the medium armor person. I want to be the heavy. You can kind of choose which one of those kind of entry level kind of gears that potentially you can kind of run. Or Destiny, you can want to be the hunter. I want to be the this, and it's probably the same with tanks. You can have this type of tank or this type of tank. Or in other games or whatever, or space, airplanes. I completely agree, Miz. I think that's the thing for me. It's like when you start, you've got no choice. You literally are pigeoned. You're like, I have to be an Aurora or a Mustang, and I have to do delivery and a bit of pew pew if I do the couple of missions.
Asnog makes a good point. Well, you can't if you start off with no money, but anyway, Asnog makes a good point.
I thought we were starting off with 1,000.
Yeah, but would you be able to rent it for 1,000? But okay, anyway. So Asnog makes a good point. Is he's saying it's not starter ships that they're saying that the starter thing for mining and something will actually be a tool. And so that technically could work. You could have an Aurora fly around and still be a repairer if you had a repair tool. I mean, if that's how they want to do it, okay. I get that. That's fine. If that's how you
could
get
be
into
crew.
repair.
You could be crew for someone else if you can't afford a ship, and then you can earn enough credits. That would be fun gameplay. Working your way up to actually owning a ship yourself, like you see in the films and the series.
I mean, but they could do that as a thing anyway. Like, if you didn't start as a ship, you literally have to rent one, or like you said, join someone for a mission to start off with. I think that would actually be a cool start to the game. You don't have a ship, you know.
I think kind of the point you were making is that you, instead of setting all these sort of small ships at the same level, the prospector now has to be more expensive in game because it costs more in real life.
Probably,
and they've set that sort of that price limit already, when really it should be more appealing to a starter miner instead of thinking, well, now I've got to earn $1.5 million to even start mining.
Main point is, at the start of the game, you should have access to all the mechanics, or not. Maybe there are some that should need more skill.
The starting points of all the mechanics, mate.
I'd say at least three
but
solid
just
ones.
access. So if I want to be a repairer, I can be a repairer. If I want to be a refueler, I can be a refueler. That one's a little bit harder because if you have it too small, I don't see how you refuel.
You carry a fuel tank on your back.
Yeah, I suppose you could. It wouldn't get you very far, but I suppose you could refuel a little bit. But yeah, that kind of thing, so that you could.
I think you will have access to that. They've said about doing, like Asnog said, about doing handheld stuff. It's a case of you want. I think they want you to start off in this. You know, basically you have a starter package, but really you don't really want to use that because it's just a ship to get you from A to B. Because really, what you want to be doing is focusing on the areas that you want to focus on, which I guess is starting at the bottom ladder. You don't want to start mid ladder. You want to start at the bottom, which is in someone else's ship, maybe running crew as a Starfarer crew, earning enough creds, doing that in order to pay for one yourself, maybe a starter variation of that. I think the prices of ships will fluctuate, but it would be nice to start on the bottom rung of any game mechanic and work your way up. But I agree with, if you're meaning like, you know, the prices of ships should all be quite evenly spread for the starting point, and people, if they want to come in and be mining straight away, they should have access to that. But that is, I think, where the renting is going to come into this. I think the ability to rent the ships will give you access to it. You may be paying out more than if you just owned it at the end of the day, but that gives you access to the game mechanics.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Yeah.
I think the truth is, this is again another shining example of where we're talking about ATVs, and we want to get back to those, 10 for the chairmen. We want to get back to those ATVs and those deep dives where we talk to the guys who are building the game mechanics, and we get more good, solid questions, get more answers. Like they've talked about some of these things. A lot of these things are, maybe some of the answers are very old, and have been, back on, ATVs way back when. I think it would be nice to get, like, that's what I'm hoping for this year, more clarity on some of the salvage mechanics, more clarity on what's coming up. At the end of the day, if salvage is being pushed back to next, why can't we, be interested to hear what their sprints and more information. So CIG, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see more very soon, because otherwise we're just going to be doing this forever, and it's going to drive everyone crazy.
That's what we do.
I know.
We do.
Oh yeah, okay. So this is about this is something that's interesting. So we had someone talk about this before, and I did say we were going to talk about it. And this is to do with, there's kind of two angles on this. This is to do with NPCs and aimbots, auto turrets, and how that meta or that kind of effect can be very negative towards StarCitizen. Now, in theory, it sounds great. Some of it, NPCs, would be able to man turrets, for example, in like a hammerhead, and you're only a single person and you bought a hammerhead. You can have your NPC. Say, for example, you've got your 600i and you've got the auto turret aim and shoots down things in the back of the thing. It all sounds lovely to some people. To me, I loathe it, because it takes all the skill out of the game. I always want the game to be much more about people and less about NPCs, but we all know the game's going to have a huge amount of NPCs in the game. And I loathe the fact that we're going to more of an elite dangerous kind of the damaging the components, and targeting automatic aiming and what I call easy aim, to ships and stuff. Now, like I said before, if they sort out the flight model, we shouldn't necessarily need that so much. I don't mind certain weapons to be able to auto lock onto the components on the inside of the ship, but on the outside, skill should be there. But the problem you've got is when you build auto aims and auto assisting stuff in a single situation, one-on-one, I think it's okay. But once you start to scale that up to lots of ships, and I think you can kind of it becomes, you'll just have hammerheads full of NPCs, for example. If they're really good, you're not going to want to fill them with people, because probably the numbers will probably be like, well, they're cheaper and they run better, and they're always there and they hit the target better than the humans. So why do I want them? So then you end up, CRG's got to be really careful here, I think, with the NPCs and the auto aiming and all this stuff, because I think they're going to be entering a world of, they could really fuck up the game. Really quickly.
Don't want Armor 3 fucking headshotters.
No.
We don't want that.
That's what I was saying a long time ago about the automatic turrets. It's like I would pick AI automatic turret over a gunner any day, because realistically, most of your gunners are probably not going to be that good in a turret. And it's like, well, the AI, if they make it good enough, it's going to hit probably at least a small percentage more than some fucker is sitting in it going, the mechanics aren't.
It's funny, because really the trade-off would be the more expensive AI, the better the AI, but the more you're paying for it. But then people can really make a lot of money in this game already. Like if you think an org can afford so many ships, this, if people are making lots of money, then this whole cost for better AI has no real influence, because people will just buy the best, and a lot of people will just have a hammerhead. They'll be the only real player in it and have a hammerhead full of the top-notch AI.
But then that's the whole danger of economy going out of control. And that's something you'll have a little bit on day one when people have got these big ships.
It'll be mental on day one.
A lot of money in, and other people. It's like, well, I can afford, if I can do one cargo run in a whole sea that's got so much cargo, I can make a ton of profit. And then it's like, how do you then make that AI balanceable to someone's relatively low income start? It's like you're never. It's like in any game though. The economies scale, and trying to balance it for the beginner to the ones at the top that are earning a shit ton of money and not making it, so freely available. It's like, I can, like you said, I buy AI till the fucking cows come home. Right.
Sorry, I'm taking them for a walk.
And many of the single players will, and it's. I just think that they really need. This is going to be something they're going to step into. This is like the EMP scenario. This is like the. I agree with, again, this comes back to the Nimrod video. This got me thinking about it. This is why I brought it up as well, and also we had a discussion in my Discord. I'm trying to figure out how it's again. It comes back to the actually, I was watching a dogfighting video as well. It was to do with the focus of StarCitizen in terms of focusing on guns versus flight. When you're focusing on guns and the way guns do damage, and focusing on aimbots, or whatever you want to call it, easy aim, and all that sort of thing, I think you kind of lose track of what the focus point was, which is the beginning, which is Chris talks about skill-based game. We're talking about flight, talking about that skill to get onto the target, to use your skill to shoot that. That's ultimately, if he talks about World War II and all the rest of it, that's what that was. Those were those dudes who were freaking skillful, firing rounds onto target, and it took huge, tremendous amounts of skill, and I think that they need to make sure they don't, if they go down that territory of just looking at guns and aimbots and trying to please the too many people or whatever, trying to make those big whale accounts happy so they don't get blown up all the time, they will be in danger of ruining the game. I know they probably are aware of this, but I just think tread carefully, put it in PTU when you do it, and really ask us what we think. Don't just throw it out at us, because I just feel, I'm just so scared.
Something that they are doing with AI, don't forget, is that in order to get a good AI, I'm sure you can probably buy one straight off, but the good, really good AI, top AI, will either be expensive or they will require training up. And like they've always said about how they want you to feel like your AI isn't just, I'm just going to hire him, we'll all ignore him because he's not real, let's just leave him doing that. They want it to be more engaging, like you would see with Squadron 42, but maybe not to that level, where you actually start feeling for them because you've trained them up. Whether we'll actually feel that or not, I don't know, but that's their intention, is to make it that the AI are a part of your team and that they're not expendable, because if you spent a lot of time and money invested in them to train them up and then they die, you're going to be annoyed. But it's one of those things that when it comes to balancing, we're going to have to wait and see what they do.
They give it
AI.
themselves so many things that make it so difficult to balance.
Yeah.
That's how I think. Whenever they say implement some of these things, and I think, oh god, the balancing in that is just going to be a nightmare. Like the balance of having AI versus trained, and then there's a difference between auto turrets and trained pilots as well. So like like the computer guided automatic turret versus someone that you've trained AI.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I don't want to be in their shoes of trying to get the balance right.
Yeah.
So that people don't pick that over a pilot every time. Or players.
People do it already. Like people doing the numbers on stuff all the time. People, I watch the streamers do it. I see people do it all the time. They're like testing out the Hawk, testing out the formats. Like figuring out the more something is in game, the more people test things out, the more people will play with stuff, which is what you want. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. Like people now can you take 3 Hawks with dominance loadouts. You can kill a hammerhead comfortably. You probably kill one with 1 if you're a pretty competent pilot without any turrets. But if you got turrets on there, you probably want to take at least 3. I can take a Buccaneer loadout to a 600 now with the same dominance as kill it. In testing it out, I mean it's a bit trickier in flight, but
they are going to have the most balanced game ever. When you consider when most of these games that come out and they put it out there before the players have even touched it, and then they spend the next 2 years balancing. We're gonna get the game. Hopefully, this is if we're balancing it now and they're seeing all the metadata. Yeah. But if you consider, we've seen it so many times with all these AAA games coming out that aren't fully balanced because they've not been out long enough. They should have been. They should have been tested and QA tested and whatnot. But they have the best form of QA testing, which is us. They have every player of the game testing it for them and providing feedback, not just verbally or what we're providing for them. It's the metadata that they're gathering. They can see how it all spreads across every, the average player, the better players, the lesser players. So ultimately, this should come to the point where it's balanced pretty early on, and there's less balancing to do later on, which could mean that a smaller data section than you see in most games. But with the game being so vast, I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, we'll wait. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's going to be a headache. I just want them to give us.
The more ships they introduce, you then not only balancing turrets, you're balancing how many turrets each ship's got to get, and then do you balance this ship versus
firing
this
the turret?
Ship versus that ship?
I just think they have to think. In my head, I think to make it easier for themselves, stick to a focus and stay on it. Don't be swayed any which way or the other. This is why I was meaning, why I say you originally talked about being a skill game. Keep that at the focus of it, because if you start to let little things drop in, that focus will be lost. And I just
I think
stay
it's
on
be a
that.
skill game. And personally, in my opinion, I think the best way to run it would be you can have AI turrets, but they're shit. They'll hit now and again, or they'll do something, so it's better than having nothing. But at the end of the day, if you want a multi-crew ship, you multi-crew it, and you get people to do it. Yep. People aren't going to like that answer. I know they're not. People are going to say,
no, they do need to make sure that if you
I honestly think it's skill-based and player-based, and I think if that's how you want to run it, that's the best way to balance it. Make it so that it's supposed to be run by players.
But the difficulty is we're assuming that every player will be better than the average AI. It's a case, again, it's this whole balance.
Because I'm worried that they're not. It's the opposite. I think AI will do better than players because by inherentness, I'm shit at shooting. Loads of people I see watch are shit at shooting. That's what I'm saying.
It's the consistency, isn't it? Some days you're good at something, some days you're not. Whereas the AI will be basically good all the time, or bad all the time, or somewhere in between all the time.
And that's what I mean. So that's why I personally think the AI needs to be shit, better than not having anybody on there, but shit enough that it's something to have if you can't crew it fully. But realistically, you want a crew. That's all I think.
Yeah.
No, it is. Chris is always saying it's a multiplayer game. It isn't supposed to be run solo, but it's doable. But you are going to struggle. So I would expect the AI if you had a hammerhead full of AI, it is going to be less effective than a hammerhead full of real players.
I think that's the thing is people always think when they come to AI and NPCs, and that's the last. I don't want to talk to Twix. I want to get to your soapbox, Mac.
Has a soapbox.
It's the scale. People still always think like one-on-one. You know, that's the thing. People always think one-on-one, but when you scale it up into bigger ships and much bigger ships and much bigger combat with multiple ships, you start putting all those NPCs, all that AI into that situation. It just gets really weird.
Mindfuck.
Yeah, it just gets really weird, and the advantages and the disadvantages, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I just go. I always say, just focus. I sometimes go, if you aim to catch wide and lots, you tend to miss tons of shit. But I always think if you kind of focus narrow, you catch more. You know, and I think
if they
that's
focused on the current in-game stuff rather than adding salvage and lore, we can get that sorted before they introduce new mechanics.
Yeah, that would be fine too.
Not quite, but I know that in other MMOs that I've picked, so I play an engineer class a lot, which has turrets and turrets are normally automated, like in sort of like when you're playing an engineer. And the reason I have them is because I know that if I put a turret down, it's going to at least get some shots off and hit somebody while I may be running around for a flag or something like that. The chances are that will get a shot off. Now, if you just told another player to get there, he might not get a shot off. He might not see. I know that it's guaranteed to at least auto-focus and start shooting as soon as someone puts their face around the corner, regardless, because that's how it's made. So, like, from when I used to play Team Fortress Classic, it was like, stick a turret on the top of the thing, because it will shoot as soon as someone enters the building. Whereas the player will not necessarily... What if they're drinking their tea at that time? Or they're going for, they're going for a piss or something. So, yeah, I honestly think, like, as soon as you start sticking AI in, it makes it very difficult. And I think, in my opinion, it needs to be really shit.
Here's the thing.
It needs to be
example,
pretty bad.
How many of us can make it through Lorville without being killed by the NPCs shooting us headshots or killing us? How many people can make it all the way through from the minute you land and you got a crime stat to like one of the locations getting through with like the 4 or 5 NPCs?
I don't think I've ever tried.
Try it. You won't get far. You might get further than you think, but you'll never make it. You'll never. If from the moment you spawn to the getting with, if you had a crime stat of 4, if you spawn a 4 from your bed, you try to make it down to your landing pad, spawn a ship, and get away. You'd never do it. No one can do it. You die pretty fast. You're getting shot if you got a.
But do you think they should make it through?
Because No, but that's my point is that they can dial up and dial down depending on whatever accuracy.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is,
really
so if they dialed up the NPCs to be really good aimbotting, like you would want them in. Like I would want, if I was going on a combat mission, I'd certainly take the NPC guys more than I would take my friends, because those guys at Lorville can hit pretty damn good. They've got
stormtrooper accuracy. That's what I think.
Yeah. That's the. We don't want them to be stupidly stupid. It's that balance. It's definitely that balance. And maybe, like I said, maybe we'll get different tiers.
I would rather on the air of them being stupidly stupid. Because I think it would encourage players more. That's what I'm trying to say. I think it needs to be, as much as people won't like that, it's like, well, look, you can take a crew. If you don't want to take a crew, you can still have something that will hit. It's just not going to hit very often. Say its accuracy is 10%, if that's the best way of doing it. It's got an accuracy of 10%.
Well, you can do that way, or I would do it with the way where they don't fire all the time. So their accuracy could be good, but they're not constantly on the time. Because if you think about it, I'm thinking in cover situations. So like NPCs that are fairly competent that can hide, and then they pop up and they shoot, and then they hide and they pop up and shoot, and they move around and they pop up and shoot. They do damage to you, but you kind of, I'm trying to think of a way to make it so that they're competent and a threat and interesting and hard, but you can still kill them, and they're not like immediately you're headshotted. Do you know what I mean? Like you go, oh shit, I'm taking damage. I've got to cover. Where are they? At the moment, they seem like search and destroy. I think there's a balance there, but then in terms of turrets, I'm thinking you could do something similar where maybe they do a certain amount, they do less reduced DPS. Maybe they're more accurate, but they do less DPS. There's a whole little things they could do. I'm interested to see.
Yeah, but
we could talk about this for ages.
Again, the constant. I feel that that's still wrong. I feel it has to be accuracy, because even less DPS, they're constantly going to hit. If they're accurate, they're going to hit, even if it's a little, and that's a constant. Whereas a player, you've got to the stars have got to align. You've got to be.
I'm only saying for the tier, because they said that there will be different tiers. You'll be able to get your AI smarter.
Change the accuracy slightly, but
I expect there'll be many parameters that come into AI.
Could be 25%. So it goes from 5 to 25%, something like that. So the best you can get is a 25% accurate.
I'd love to know more about subsumption and what the future plans are, or what the plans are for subsumption, or how it works, or where it takes its focus and whatnot. Because there's going to be more parameters than just accuracy, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you can have AI for combat, you can have it for industry, you can have it for medicine.
This is it. Yeah, I was about to get to
that's the thing. It's not just a case of how good can they fire a weapon. It's how effective are they in every single scenario that a player also interacts with. And again, I'm glad I'm not doing the balancing.
I mean, like I said, they, in terms of like being picked up from AI. If you're stranded somewhere, you put out a beacon to be picked up. The AI comes to get you. Or if you're mining and you have an NPC mining with you,
overheating events or something like that. Or
how much more accurate?
Game. If they're doing their mini games better than you do a mini game, why in the fuck would you get a player to do a mini game? So it has to be.
He's always top of the leaderboard, for fuck's sake. He's not even real.
But you're right.
Like how I'm entering AI into the next Damar rally.
Yeah,
Asylum is going to be AI. It's like, look at them.
How challenging would it be? How annoying would it be? Because I know how tricky sometimes getting the bar in. Imagine the AI is like freaking, like you train him up. He's amazing. You would never need. I would be like, your mate would be like, oh, can I come and mine with you? And you'd be like, nah.
How do I tell him no because he's shit?
Nah, we're not mining today, mate.
I'm doing my hair. Sorry.
You get the coffee.
I'm not mining today, but you're in your prospector.
Yeah, I've got my Orion is out. And I'm just moving it from this location to that location. But I've got my brother. Nah, it's okay. Like 12 of your NPCs are coming with you. You're like, nah, it's okay. You just, you're going to ruin my meta, my numbers. It's but I agree, Mac. Like, absolutely, we're just talking about combat, but yeah, there's a whole. Somebody beautifully in chat, like I said the other day, did wind in my mind. I'm too combat orientated. I do need to think bigger about other aspects of the game. Okay, Mac. So finish up because we're right on the time now. What is your soapbox? What did you want to talk about? So, do you want me to read it out? Or have you got read it out? Yeah, okay. So, you said maybe chat about the vehicle tech updates. V1 from the roadmap says that adding a variety of vehicle implementation improvements, such as vehicle states for model behavior and updating the vehicle paint system. I'm wondering if it includes new lighting states, door locking, and permissions. So you wanted to
so the idea is this whole they've really given us two examples of vehicle tech stuff, which is changing the modals, so going from flight mode to normal mode, like on the Jean ship and the Reliant, without actually having to go into landing mode or normal mode, which is good. We need that. Also the paint system, which is kind of interesting. We'll be able to paint our ships. But also the idea of changing your lighting mode, so from auxiliary to emergency to the states, locking doors, potentially having permissions on board your ships. What other areas of vehicle tech updates could that mean? And is it obviously version 1 will be the very littlest of things. I think they did put an ETC in there, didn't they? Such as. They said such as, so it means there's probably more coming than just those two potential aspects.
Yeah.
But what would be vehicle tech stuff, and what would you want to see coming into ship interaction?
Would it be like the components? So in terms of where components where, and you're replacing those, or do you...
See, I wouldn't. I would have thought that would mean they would actually bring in their own section for component gameplay version 1 as such, or repair engineering version 1. I don't know if that would mean tech updates, and if it did, would they not put it in this post? I wish it would. I really would love that. It could be.
Yeah.
But what other areas could it actually relate to?
So, because I was just trying to get my head around it. So, adding a variety of vehicle implementation improvements, because I didn't catch up on this bit. I didn't see this bit before, that you're talking to. States for model behavior and updating the vehicle paint system. Yes, I completely want that. I want to paint my own ship. I'm so bored of seeing the same paint job all the time. Mm-hmm. Including new lighting states, locking the doors. I want the ability to hack doors. I'd like to be busted trying to break into someone's ship. Would be hilarious. Be like sat at the side, like kind of going, trying to break in.
Is this not my ship?
Sorry. It's not my key. I you know, if I'm going to get a crime stat, like, you know, landing on a pad or whatever else, I certainly want. I want to break into, make it worth my while. So
Jimmying a lock and go, is this not my ship? Oh, sorry.
Where did this crowbar come from?
Drop it by accident. Just accidentally. Yeah, it'd be constantly throwing my weapon. No, I think that we should have. I know it drives other people crazy. They love the fact that we've just been able to lock doors, but I would like there to be the ability to.
It's quite important, isn't it? To be fair, locking doors, and the Macs or the freelancers don't have that at the moment. It doesn't automatically lock. Yeah. But when you've got these big ships where you have other members of the other orgs join, like I joined the intro org as an being the SM Borg, I joined the intro. We got taken to their mess hall and was not really told to stay there, but we knew that if we started wandering around, there'd be an issue. So giving permissions to people and access to certain areas. If you have someone who's just a turret gunner, you don't want them to go wandering into the bridge or the captain's quarters or other areas where he shouldn't be going. So I'd like it to be something like that, but I don't know. Naming ships, I wouldn't think so. But potentially, if we can paint them, maybe we could start dropping names on them. That would be cool. Cockman shirt, 1000, freelancer Max.
Definitely,
nice, wouldn't it?
Definitely. I'd like the light. I like the idea of the lighting states. I'd love the idea of, you know, we're talking about auto turrets and stuff, but I'd like some security measures to be implemented in ships. Some of the big ships would be quite cool. Some additional ones. Air venting, we've already seen them. They showed us that stuff, so we need to. You know, they talked about the pressurization and stuff into ships. Will that be a thing? I hope it is, because that will just add a level of just like insane.
I mean, like decompression and stuff. Yeah, that would be like. I suppose I'd take the room system and transition it into the physics grids of the ships and whatnot.
But my main thing would be spawning my vehicles inside my spaceships, Mac.
Oh, that could be something that they're on about there. Maybe spawning the Ursa and the Aquila.
I like to spawn my Dragonfly inside my thing and my.
Well, the thing with the Dragonfly. Sorry, no, yeah, good point. Inside like a Valkyrie. That would be cool.
Valkyrie. No, well, I'm just thinking in my Cutlass, please. Dragonfly.
Is that a sort of thing that you would expect to do from inside the ship or from outside, like on the terminal?
Yeah, that's a good.
Do you know when you call your ship, like in some ways, I feel like, well, immersion-wise, it wouldn't seem right sitting in the back of your ship and then spawning it. But then, on the terminal, you would want to kind of say, well, I want my Dragonfly in this ship, like almost like a tick box option: Dragonfly or no Dragonfly.
Yeah, it shows the appropriate what will actually fit, not what you can force in there. Tick it up if you want that in because you own it, and it's in the same location as to where you are. That would probably be a terminal thing rather than.
It would make more sense because otherwise you could be in the middle of space and go, right, actually let's spawn my Dragonfly now. I'm here, and it's you should have started to travel with the Dragonfly. You shouldn't have.
You should have thought about that earlier, young man.
I told you to think about every possibility, but you didn't, did you? No, so you
now we're 12 minutes away, and you could have go all the way back again.
Either that, or provide a valet service that we could take the job up, so we can basically be the valet service on board ports.
I think they should implement that as a
Dragonfly. What do you mean he's got no quantum jump? Oh,
someone on pad 07 has requested a Dragonfly red into their Cutlass black. So you'd be like, you'd be like, okay.
Jump it away.
Take it in.
This whole beacon mission things, they should have. I own, like if you're at Crusader and you have a ship that you spawned and packed at Hurston, and you want, Hurston, and you want that bringing, they could put that in there, so you give them access to bring that ship to you. Obviously, there's a whole problem of if they damage it, blow it up, the game crashes, whatever, they'll have to figure that out in terms of like insurance. Yay, that's a fun job. But like if you've ever played Test Drive, one of my favorite missions in Test Drive games was someone wanted this car delivered to this location and you had to just drive, and the least amount of damage you took, the better the payout. Like if they do that with ships, Yeah, pretty much.
Mine were always
I think they can
so
implement that quite early.
cheap. I never made any money on that because I always crashed the fuck out.
Smash.
Immediately on
I
exit.
played GTA with like madness a few times. It's like deliver this car, but there's no doors left on it. There's no bonnet. But it's like it moves. It's still a car.
I've been crushed underneath Mrs. car. That's usually what happens. That clip is still one of my favourite clips of all time.
Come on,
Oh, that is such a good clip.
As Nog says, I would so demand a different valet if Miz was the one standing.
Miz and Madness are standing and the Asylum boys are ready in valet service. You go, guys.
I'll deliver it. It'll be fine. I'll just park it round the back and they'll tell me when you want it back and I'll bring it.
It's just Ferris Bueller moment. That's what it would be. Just literally just hop in the car.
But someone did mention the fact that they would like every landing pad thing to have a spawn point. I presume they mean like on ships as well.
For small vehicles.
Yeah, well, they did say with the Kraken at least, but that has got landing pads, so maybe that would be why. So maybe not inside the Cutlass, but anything that's got an actual landing pad. They did say the Kraken, you would be able to spawn your ships. But I wonder if it will be linked to that. So if it's got a landing pad, then
or a hangar,
it delivered well. That's what I'm saying. But if it counts as a technical hangar, yeah.
But yeah, you can't spawn stuff just randomly from your account. It'll have to be in that location because the spawn points, like if you fly from,
if you have the Kraken that you, I don't know actually.
It's only what you've landed on there that you can respawn again.
Itself.
Yeah, because it's like if you fly a Crusader, like a Constellation, landed at Crusader, then take a lift to Hurston, you cannot then recall your Connie. You have to reclaim it if you want it for you. So it's the same is going to apply to the ships. Again, thoughtful game.
A random question on that then is if you then say, right, okay, I'll load up my Kraken with all my ships and land them on, because they obviously disappear, but you counted as landing them on the Kraken.
Yeah.
If your Kraken blows up,
you're fucked.
What the fuck happens to all your ships? Does that count as they've also all gone?
Yeah.
Oh, I assume so. Yeah, because technically they would be on the landing pad.
Technically, they're there. Okay.
Of course. Like,
but I don't know. Do they? Will they disappear? Should they?
They'd all blow up.
Should they? Yes, but would they? Don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
It'd be like one or two, just suddenly random. Like when sometimes the ships blow up around us, and we're suddenly still standing there going, "Well, that was close, wasn't it?" Whew! They will be the same when the Kraken blows up, and there'll be like one or two ships still there, and you'd be like, "Phew!" And you're the one person still alive, so you can go fly to EVA over to your ship and get away. I mean, maybe that's a cool thing. I don't think it makes sense, but maybe having, or maybe there could be the escape pods survive, because that's ultimately what the escape pods are supposed to survive, right? Explosions, or are they supposed to fly away? Not
inside the ship. If you're still inside the ship in an escape pod, you're not technically going to survive. You've got to eject first.
Okay. No, I was just thinking,
it's not like a safe room that will.
Oh yeah, it's not like
you've got to
Escape from New York. I was thinking like with Snake, the president in the ship at the beginning. He's got like special president's ball thing, doesn't he? That he kind of fires out the ship the airplane that's crashing. But that's different. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry. Ignore me.
Like a padded room.
That's a proper 80s movie for anyone. Snake Plissken.
That's a classic.
Landed on the Kraken and it blows up. Does the explosion get bigger? Well, fuck me. He's landed about 50 ships on it.
That's why I think the Kraken is a bad ship. By the way, guys. Like I know people will love it, but I just think like that is just such a bad ship. Like all those ships,
and it's
all on the front. They're all over the front there. Just literally, just like I'm just be like, okay, forget about taking out the Kraken. Let's just take out the ships on the pad and watch them explode and see how much damage that does.
But you won't see them on the pad. You won't. That's the problem.
If you spawn them, you will.
Oh, if you spawn them, but that's what I'm saying. But undespawn. Like say you land, because obviously they vanish eventually.
Okay.
They will vanish eventually because that's the whole point. You can go onto your landing pad and spawn them. So if you've got all your fleet landing them on there, then they vanished because they've been put away or stowed.
You won't be able to
blow up the Kraken. Does it blow up all your fleet with
I get you now. Okay, no, I didn't understand that.
Obviously, if you're sitting on top, then of course it can blow up.
But if they're on top, but then should they be allowed to be stored though?
I'm sure they said they were going to store because you.
Thing
can
is, though,
them. So if you can summon them, then
if they get stored, then technically you can land another ship there, and that's not supposed to be the case. It's supposed to be that you land one ship, and that's all you can have on that landing pad.
The problem is, I think you'll find with the Kraken, it has it has more capacity for ships,
Clearly,
but you don't necessarily put them in. So if you look on the model that we made with JRDF, there was like a dragonfly bay.
Yeah.
And you could have like 6 or 7 stacked dragonflies. We couldn't physically fly them in. So technically, you could land a dragonfly, it would disappear. Then you would land another one and it would disappear, and it would stack them up.
But these big ships, though, they don't because you can actually access the dragonfly inside the ship.
Well, no, I don't know if you can. I think it would just be...
But they had a concept image of it, though.
Oh, there you go. No, but I can only go by what they're saying is, and they said you can spawn your ships on the landing pad. That's what they said. So
a lot more ships inside a carrier.
So it's got to be stored in the first place.
Yeah,
I say you land 100 ships and then it blows up, and then you think, "Ooh, that's
So
like
to
half our fleet."
To answer your question is yes, if you store them all, I think they should all blow up with the ship because in theory they're inside the spaceship, so the spaceship's blown up, but they're not invisible. Even though they're invisible, they're not. They should be technically, they should all blow up. But then that's still, that kind of.
It was. I'm not really asking for an answer because we don't know. It was just more off the cuff, kind of like, let's be funny if you think, because that's one of the things I would be. It's like, well, I've got a huge fleet. Best thing to do is board it all onto my Kraken and get them so they vanish because you've got your fleet with you everywhere you go.
Logically,
the risk
they
would be
persist.
you blow up, you lose fucking everything. That would be one hell of an insurance payday. Excuse me.
I accidentally set the timer to disable my ship off.
Miz was flying. Miz was flying my Kraken, and he thought it would be fun to try and land it.
But on top of that, I've also got 100 ships docked in it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But the insurance guy's going to be like,
your next premium's going through the fucking roof.
Yeah.
But it will be interesting to know though is if you see here with the kicker though, if you know that the ships despawn on the Kraken, if you see a Kraken with ships on top of its pads, you know that sucker is full to the brim with spaceships.
Yes, I know. The reason, so they also said if it's not your ship, if you're not the owner and you land, you can dock on it.
But you can't store it.
Yeah.
So okay. So it could be. So you could be pretending.
But you could blow up everybody else's ships.
Yeah, that's just as much fun. That's just as good. But it would be even better to hear the cry in chat, in VoIP or whatever.
Of all the fucking ships on the docking blades, you choose mine to blow up, you bastard.
Oh, the salt, brilliant. Yeah. Okay. Well, there is other things, but I think we've covered everything for this late. We've cut it. We've gone a little bit over tonight.
0 questions, so we're obviously not.
Well, I don't think we've actually asked any questions. I think people come in for the entertainment value. So anyway,
no, they don't.
No, they don't. I pay them. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this evening for the Asylum Podcast. I hope you've had a good time. If you're new to the show and you've just joined us and you kind of liked it and you want to kind of know more, !Asylum, go check out our YouTube channel. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can catch up on previous shows. We've had some really interesting guests on, and they're definitely worth watching. Some of the specials that we do. We've had Mac on a few times. Just a little shout out to Snake, who last week was on the show, wasn't partnered, and between that period of time and this time has become partnered. So congratulations to Snake Eater. So if you want to be partnered, you heard it here first.
Come on the show. Yeah, there you go.
You will eventually get partnered. The rest of us don't, but eventually everyone else does. Yeah, completely ruined my train of thought again.
Mac wasn't here when he was partnered, and then he became
It's true.
This is true.
Yeah.
This is so true. Everybody, it's that little stamp of just like
we harbour them and let them fly.
Yes,
and then they go.
They go away. Exactly. So I'm very busy this week. I've got deadlines, and then I'm off to Germany next week. So if anyone's in Munich next week, yeah, I'm off to next Monday. I'm off to Munich, so I won't be here on to do the show next week. I'm afraid.
It's pronounced Munch.
Munch.
I did like that bit on the ATV where he's like, asked Siri, what's a group of gladiators? No, you've been saying it wrong all this time. It's gladius. Gladius.
Gladius.
Yes, fucking ask Siri for the pronunciation.
Yeah, that's good. We should ask them to do the Aquila or the Aquila.
Aquila.
That's the next one.
How many Aquilas are there?
So yeah, I won't be here next week, guys. But yeah.
So you're away just for a week?
I'm away for a week, and then I'll be back, and then I will probably be off to Asia again. Then I'm off. And then I'm off again.
I think I'm away the week after. So.
Yeah, and then I'll be back. I'm not sure when I'm going away, but basically the end of from 14th of February to the end of February is probably my window when I will be probably traveling to Asia for work, and then. But the difference, hopefully, this time I won't be doing so much travel because I'm doing half the workload now, thank God. So just as much work, more work, in fact, but it's somehow half the work. I don't know how it works, but it's weird. So I'll try and stream when I can, but I've got deadlines, so that's why I don't. This is why I'm consistent with this Asylum podcast, and I can jump in other people's streams. I am learning at the moment, which is pretty cool. I am actually learning
joystick.
Yeah.
Is it HOTAS or is it Dual?
I have. It's not HOTAS. I have Dual. I have bought Dual, but I haven't got Dual plugged in. I've only got the left plugged in. So I'm doing. I've got
the right one's there. He sits there and uses it. It just doesn't
it's
work.
Imaginary. It's imaginary. It doesn't work. I'm running.
It's not plugged in, Madness. Yeah, I know, but it doesn't.
I'm not running that one. I'm running left-hand joystick. I use mouse is my targeting and shooting and stuff, and all my normal stuff that I used to do, and pedals because I have pedals, so I use pedals for all. I've got all the degrees of movement, and I got the accuracy, so I'm using that for the time being. It's pretty good. I kind of like it. Once I get used to, I think the movement, then I'll maybe try it up and switch to dual. But the problem is honestly, I don't know how other people do it. I have got no space on my desk for these. I've got enough space to put one joystick on my desk. I have no space to put two joysticks on my desk. So I'll have to
mounts. I think people use,
I think I'll have to get a mount.
I'm the same. It's like once I get the HOTAS out, it's like, well, now the keyboards. I've got I had to play the keyboard. It's like, ow.
I think I saw Detox had like some mounts for his. He's got the same. I think he's got a Secret Lab Mega as well. So I'm gonna have a chat with him. I think he's got some mounts as well. Yeah, I think that might be the ones. So I'll have a look at those. But for now, that's the plan. That's what I've got. I'm gonna learn. It cost me £50. So for anyone here in the UK, if there's anyone from the UK. Go check out game.co.uk. They were selling for £25 for the T1600 16,000 Ms, which is the old stock that they obviously were just clearing stock.
You haven't got the orange ones like I have.
£25. You can't go wrong with £25. Pretty awesome. Anyway, that's me. So yes, catch me up on here. You can follow me on Twitter and all the rest of it, and I will be around loads of people's streams. I love StarCitizen. I love you guys. So I'm always in the community. Hit me up with any questions. Whisper me. You want to ask me any questions or just whatever. Just feel free. I'm always around to chat. Cool. You guys tell us what the rest of you are doing for the rest of the week.
It's just terrible.
That was just nice. That was nothing to do with me. He was just like, oh, there you go.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Love that.
Drops in late in the podcast and bombs with that.
Yeah, I gotta bring it. I'll bring it up on screen if I can. Hang on.
So you can find me on miserable_G on Twitch and Twitter. Fuck knows when I'm going to stream again. I've literally just kind of finished the project. I haven't actually because I still got something else for me to do, but. I don't know. I got to try and get back into some rhythm of streaming because I felt like I haven't streamed for like months. It probably has been months actually. So I'll try and get back into it. Hopefully, I'll have a bit more free time. I've got plans ahead for some more creative streams, D&Ds. Got to get back on track. Oh yeah, I was thinking. So I don't know. It's not been completely confirmed, and I don't even know when I have to talk about it. But JRDF did the grey cats that you've seen. Some of you may have seen on Twitter. We talked a little bit about it last week. I painted them, but they made them as like a kit form. So they've worked more on the model to make it more stable. They've put rubber tires in, which is taken into account what Madness said. They're also looking at putting clear glass, although I did actually manage to put some latex to make it clear glass. But yeah, they're looking at getting a way to make these clear glass. And then what their plan is, if they can get CIG approval, is to sell these as kit form, unpainted kit form, grey cat buggies. And then obviously you can all buy them as kit form. You can put them together and paint them yourself. Or if you're like, there may be a painter somewhere that can paint it for you. Our plan...
He's also one of the Muppets.
So long as they don't do anything like this, okay? Just because like things can go wrong when you do bad merchandise.
Oh my god! I read that thread. I posted. Fuck me, is that terrible? Oh my god!
This is an example of make sure the game's great first before you do merchandise. But yeah, you could do.
Nobody's wearing them at the moment, are they? They're in everyone's wardrobes.
Oh my god! It's just awful.
Tarpaulin
back
leather.
on topic
Sorry.
Is if they carry on with, well, even if they don't, I think they've still said we can get a couple. Is that even if we don't sell them, we might still be able to get a couple of thanks. Grey Cat, Madness, and I. If we carry on going ahead with it, is I'm going to paint with him on stream, and he's going to learn to do some painting.
Yes.
And I'll teach.
Please.
Not that I'm probably good enough to even do any teaching anyway, but so I'm going to paint and teach him how to paint, and you can all sit there and watch us paint Grey Cat buggies.
So much self-deprecation. Don't need any more of it.
I also have to do
He tells children how to fire arrows.
A StarCitizen Dragonfly. I need to paint another one of those for August. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to stream that. So I'll be streaming, hopefully, painting a Dragonfly in the lovely pink StarCitizen. I've done it once, so I've just got to replicate that, basically.
We'll do two. We'll paint 2 Dragonflies and we'll give one away. Not mine, because mine will be terrible. We'll give away Miz's, because Miz will be really good.
Vote, and you could either have mine or you can have Madness. Which one you want to have?
Okay, we can do that. That would be fun. So watch this space. We'll definitely get that done. And then
if you're interested in little StarCitizen models, keep an eye on chat and keep an eye on JRDF, and we'll look, and hopefully we'll have something to show off and launch. And
are they going to be sold on JR's website, or are they going to be on the RSI website?
They've got to get it confirmed and everything first, so I'm not sure. But when I know, you'll...
NDA blown.
Yeah, that's it. Now it's done.
NDA blown, but it's quite potentially possible. So sorry.
No, they've spoken. No, Carl spoke about it on Moist Noodle's channel. She's talked about it before as well. So is no NDA blown, by the way. It's been well and truly discussed from them in.
I mean, if I talk about the other thing that we should do, that's
fine.
Reveal.
If I show you this thing that I've been painting all week, then it's NDA blown. But I'm not going to show you that.
Damn him!
Your cutlass.
Damn it! He accidentally knocks the camera. It's like this models.
Yeah. Oh, it's green screen.
Idris.
Shit! Quickly.
Chris Roberts models.
Yeah. And how about you, Mac? Because this is like the longest exit in the world.
Okay, I'll keep it short. Streaming, not tomorrow, Wednesday, 3x7 videos coming out. Hopefully, most days of the week. Fucking echo mic knock.
Wow.
Did I do that?
That's a beast of an echo, wasn't it?
I didn't realize I just literally touched it. Sorry.
Other than that, there's pretty much nothing else for me to say. So, done.
Is that a new thing? Cross thumbs up.
Go give Mac a follow. Yeah, everyone knows Mac anyway. Right, boys.
Deal's the deal.
Someone to host, ladies and gentlemen. Who have we got?
You need to say that both Mac and I spoke all the way through that, and you didn't look at who you could host at the time.
Fuck you now. Professional.
I'm sorry. I was listening to you guys. I was actually doing my duty and genuinely listening to you guys.
It's not like I used to do the butterfly.
It's not like I don't normally. I was genuinely doing right. Okay, we're gonna go raid
2 thumbs up equals.
The lovely ATC Guardian. Go give him a follow, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Good night. We'll see you next week. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye. Bye.
Did you raid anyone? I don't know. That's like the geekiest.
Hang on.